All right, we have James Davis, Elaine Lancaster, very, very popular. You've made your way. Thank you for being in. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. How are you, Tommy?
I'm very good. So for people that don't know, if they're possibly living in a cave, explain a little bit about yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Well, I am a professional female impersonator, drag queen, a man in a dress. What do you want to call me? Chick with a dick. What do you want to say? Cock with a cock and a frock. I've been doing drag professionally since 1997, but I used to do it periodically playing before I moved to Miami Beach. And just got into it full time just by moving here. And I came here in 97 to work for the Versace family. And Johnny was murdered the day I arrived, July 15th, 1997. So it all ended with a gunshot, so they say. And the following Wednesday, Maxwell Blandford, who, the club Warsaw Ballroom was having a big memorial party for him. And I thought, what better way to go and celebrate the man in his memory than going in drag and having fun? So I got in drag and I got to the club, and they have a lobby when you walk into the lobby, and the general manager was standing there, and he goes, "Oh my God, who are you?" I said, "I'm Elaine Lancaster. I'm new in town." And that's how he used to have a real thick Southern accent. He said, "Oh my God, do you want to work for me?" I said, "Sure, doing what?" He goes, "emceeing the amateur strip contest every Wednesday night." I said, "Of course I do." So I started working there, and the rest is history. Everywhere I started getting jobs one after the other, and reoccurring jobs that were like set every Thursday. Come here, every this. So sometimes I'd work Wednesday, 2 jobs. After I'd get off there at 1 o'clock, I'd go work at another club until 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'd get paid in cash. And so I saved all my money, and because I knew one day the flow of cash would stop, and I bought a building in the mainland, right on Biscayne Boulevard. And so I was a smart little drag queen.
Yeah, right, like you say in one of your articles, people probably think like you're an idiot, but you're not an idiot.
I am an idiot to a degree. I mean, but I'm a good idiot.
But like the standard would be like, oh, there's no brains there.
Oh yeah. Well, drag can be a superficial business, and it is a superficial business. But look at Dolly Parton; her business is superficial, and she's the smartest woman in business.
How about her, huh?
How about her?
What amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get into how you got to where you're at with this Trump thing, how did the whole Trump thing all get incorporated into Elaine?
Well,
that also caused you a lot of shit.
It did.
It still is, right?
Well, I mean, yes and no. The thing about being the captain of your own ship, you have to learn how to adjust the sails. So if the wind is not coming to provide you with the get up and go from a certain direction, you adjust the sails and go another direction. When Trump announced, I became friendly with Trump. I don't want to say friends because we're not friends, but friendly. I used to do events for Ocean Drive magazine, and Trump would always come to the events, and he'd bring Melania, then his girlfriend. And so he'd say hi, would say hi, and people would say, "Don't ask to shake his hand, he doesn't shake hands." So I'd sit there and nod my head, how are you, Elaine? No. Well, then Dennis Rodman, who has been a friend of mine for a very, very, very long time, since I was 17 years old.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yes, before he was actually a basketball player, rather. His sister Deborah and I were friends. So anyway, Dennis invited me to come to be his date on a Celebrity Apprentice in New York, and I got into big high drag. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm standing in the green room with all the celebrities and all that are back there waiting to, for the show to begin. And the only one I really cared to talk to was Joan Rivers. I just worship Joan Rivers. And she was...
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you get to talk to her?
I did.
Because I really liked her.
Oh,
how cool was she in person?
So cool.
And nice,
so
right?
Cool. Oh.
I've never heard one bad thing about the woman.
No. She did so many wonderful things in her life.
Shame.
Yeah. So anyway, she had already won. She had won... her season, and she was helping out. She was on the panel. So Dennis is there, and I'm standing there, and everybody's looking over at me, and I thought, well, I know I look good, but what's going on? And so I hear out of my right ear, "Elaine, you look pretty this evening." And that was President Trump. Well, then Donald Trump. And I tried, "Oh, thank you." And then he said he liked my pearls. I had these real big pearls on. And so that was sort of it. And I told Dennis that night, we went to Cipriani, all of us, the after party. And I said to him, if that man really decides to run for president one day, he's going to win. Dennis goes, he's not going to run.
And you called it. And what year was that?
I think it was 2015 or 14. I don't know. I have to look at my phone.
And you had the instinct.
Well, you just know. I mean, listen, the man's very charismatic. He's always been politically astute, and he I mean, he's always, when he did that interview with Ronna Barrett, do you remember that interview? And she was, why don't you run, Donald? And he went on Oprah. Why don't you run, Donald? And he says, I would never really run unless nobody else stepped up to do it. And so I knew the day he came down that golden escalator that he was going to win. He was going to go all the way. And the Democrats were so stupid trying to make him into a joke. They got him all this billions of dollars in free press. And so, as the story goes, I mean, the rest is history. And I mean, I went on CNN thinking that, gay people are very progressive. I'm progressive in so many ways. I'm also very conservative in so many ways, believe it or not. But I'm socially progressive. I think that everybody should be entitled to the same rights and be able to do the same things. But I think that the government should be conservative, that they should financially, fiscally be restrictive. At any rate, so when I went on there, I just told my truth as it was and just said, this is what I believe. And before I got off the show, there was huge campaigns online having me canceled before there was such a thing.
Right.
And so the places that I had worked and stuff where I was making, good money and stuff, but everything happens for a reason. And I knew in my heart of hearts, the sun is not always going to shine down on you. And when it comes to drag, because the gay community can be very vicious without question. And the drag community can be even worse. Imagine that. So I'd always saved my money knowing that one day the sun was not going to be shining. The rain would set in. And so as a result of that, I was fine. But, people go, you never can do drag again. I said, what do you mean I never can do drag again? I can get in drag and go wherever I want. No one can stop me. I don't like to get into drag unless it is a business situation. It doesn't I don't get thrills from it. It's not like.
Yeah. And you say in many interviews that you're an actor. Elaine is the actor. James is you. Elaine Lancaster is an actor.
Right. It's the character I create.
Right, just like with Katie Hudson, right? Her boy asked you, hey, is that a girl or a boy? And you said, hey, I'm just like your mommy. I'm an actor.
Right.
And I think, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know you thought like that. And if you don't really read about you, you would never think it. You know, you would think, wow, this is really Elaine Lancaster. But really, Elaine Lancaster is the vehicle to move, kind of like the product, right? In a way?
Without a doubt.
And that's what it is. And people don't know that and get it.
Well, it is a character, and I have you ever heard of the book called Hollywood Wives by Jackie Collins?
Yeah, that's where you got the name.
That's where I got the name. Yes. So this is in the 80s, and I was living in Key West, Florida. I had taken a semester off from the University of Kansas, and this is before cell phones. And so I would keep in touch with my friends, through the landline, which was only that or a payphone. And my friend Charles told me, he goes, have you heard of the Hollywood Wives? And I said, no, I haven't. He goes, well, it's a book, but this miniseries starts this Sunday. You've got to watch it. So I tuned in, and there was these fabulous characters. One was named Elaine Conti, and one was Caitlyn Lancaster. And I took the two and made one.
What was it about those characters that really stuck out?
Well,
for you?
one of them was a southern little. She was so naive and so pretty, and she came to Hollywood. And before men could have a chance to take advantage of her, some big Hollywood producer snatched her up and married her, and so it protected her in so many ways. And another one was a very hardened Hollywood wife who she just had issues, so to speak. And so, no one's perfect. And so I just took the two and made one. And because, when I first started doing drag, I would go at an inner drag contest, and they would tell me, you're not a woman? And this is at gay bars. I was young, I said, no, man. And I'd show them. They're like, you look like you're a woman. And I've always been so tall. I grew 4.5 inches in 1 year.
How tall are you? I'm
6'2". I'm 6'2". Yeah.
I just want to be 6 foot. 5'10" and I would be cool.
How tall are you?
5'9".
5'9", okay.
5'8", but 5'9". Shut up, Rob. Nobody asked you.
So anyway, I just always have been very, very fortunate. And I think that just putting out authenticity and being who you are, because I've always thought that I've educated so many people along the way just by being me, not with words but with actions. Just be yourself, and people can say, oh. And so I thought that's how I was able to open the doors to these charities in South Florida and become the MC for the charities. I've emceed many, top charities over the years, some repeatedly. And I became the white party hostess I was the host for 19 years in Miami Beach. And then the host for an MC for the main stage for Gay Pride for 5 years. And then once all this came out, no more.
What was it that was said or interviewed? That was this all from CNN? Just that one time on CNN? That's what sparked this whole let's go after Elaine?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was out to destroy Elaine.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. I want to talk to you guys out there who are putting time into the gym but aren't seeing the results you want. Before you think about a new supplement, diet, or routine, I want to talk to you about your testosterone. And yes, low testosterone is more common the older you get, but it can affect men at any age. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. They're a worldwide leader in at-home testing kits, and their male hormone test kits lets you easily test your hormone levels at home. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives, confidential results will be available in your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. So if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS. Special offer for MSCS media viewers. Use promo code MSCS to get 30% off your test. Look in the description below. Link is at the top. This episode is brought to you by Aurora. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crime rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking about identity theft, and there's a new victim every 14 seconds. That's why I'm excited to partner with Aurora, who is sponsoring this video. Aurora is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all combined into one easy-to-use app. Aurora monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers and sends alerts fast, right to your phone and email. Don't put your family at risk. Try Aurora for free for 2 weeks and see if your personal identifiable information has leaked to the dark web. Start your free trial at https://aura.com/MSCS. Link is in the description below.
There's a lot of people who are jealous of my successes, which I understood, and I tried to always be inclusive with people. But the thing was, it's not that I was, let's say so much better than they were at my profession. It's I was more responsible. Someone said, be here at this time. I would show up at that time, and I was ready. They would be 2 hours late, wouldn't get called back to work again, and they wanted to know why. Well, why ask why? You're the one. Look no further than the mirror. I'd say, take your nose off that mirror.
And get your ass in.
And get your job. Yeah, do your thing.
Go read Machiavelli the Prince. You ever read that book?
I have not.
Okay, well, one of the biggest things in the book is availability. Now, it's like written in the 1700s,
sure,
but it applies to today. And one of the biggest things in that book is availability. So when he's a leader in war, he was the top leader and better than any other leader because he was always available. So like you're saying, you were always on time. When you got called, you're on time, you do a good job, you're always available. Even if you can't do the show or event, they know that you're going to answer or text back and say, I can't do it this time, but I can do it next time.
Always. Listen, I've been representatives for liquor brands. I've been the face for Stella Shania in South Florida, which I made tons and tons of money doing that.
Congratulations.
I only had to do 8 events, 8 appearances for that. And it was enough to buy a house.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a really, really good thing. It was in conjunction with the gay community. But the thing is, those people, those networks that I made in the liquor community then said, oh, you want to do something for this wine that we're promoting or this we're promoting. Of course, it wasn't the same amount of money, but I still, I did it. And then they would call me sometimes and say, listen, the person we've hired is not shown up. Can you be here? I said, give me an hour. And I'd throw my face on it real quickly. And I'd do the rest when I got there. Bam. And they were like so thankful. So I created goodwill with all these people. And people, there's nobody who can say anything bad about me as far as my work ethic whatsoever or as my character. They can just say that we don't like the way Lank thinks her politics.
But, like I looked everywhere trying to find that one bang that they just attacked you. And I could not find, like, when did you notice it? Like,
oh my God, it was a floodgate the very next day.
After the CNN thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so that's what set it off.
Oh,
so
every bit of it, yes.
Downward spiral.
Oh yeah.
There.
And then they started making up stuff, saying, "Oh, well, I knew she had to be a racist because she's from the South. Well, I knew she had to be a racist because
they pulled the racist.
Oh yeah, because she support Trump. You go, listen, you can call me whatever you want. I don't care what you think. I know who I am, and everybody who knows me knows who I am. I don't defend myself over that. If you want to call me a racist, fine. You call me a racist. If you want to call me this, call me that. It doesn't matter. You don't define me. I define who I am.
Good for you. Why do they always go to race?
Because they think that it is kryptonite, that it can cripple and penalize or paralyze you. It does not. It does not. Hey, listen, I think everybody should just say, oh yeah, I'm a white supremacist because I'm white, or oh, yes, I'm a racist, because then they have no power over you. It's like, my black friends use the N-word. If I was to use the N-word, which I don't want to, but they would, how could dare you say that? But what gives you the right to say
the N-word?
The N-word, and then, I don't think anybody should be able to, or anybody should use it, but if anybody wants to, they can. You'd never tell anybody what they can and cannot do. Allow people to be people. Allow people to make mistakes. Ask people for forgiveness if it's offended someone. I've been called faggot so many times. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. You can call me whatever you want to call me. In fact, it doesn't even remotely bother me.
Well, it's free speech, right?
Well, it's whatever. It's just
how people communicate.
Exactly. You can just say whatever you want to say. I don't care.
But that's the way you have the right idea, because tough skin we talk about all the time on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I teach my kids just tough skin.
Yeah.
You're going to go through life. People are going to say stuff about you're fat, you're ugly, you got pimples on your face, big ears. You're right, I do.
You're right. Sticks and stones.
Whatever.
May break your bone.
You know who played that card perfectly? Exactly what you're talking about? Johnny Depp. He goes on that stand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I did coke. Yeah, I drink in the morning.
Yeah,
I go party. So then when her lawyers come,
there's no crime.
He threw out exactly whatever. He threw out everything bad about himself you could try to hit him with.
Sure.
Kind of like you're saying. You know what I mean? Look, this is me. I am who I am. You could say whatever you want. You already know. And that's what Johnny Depp did.
Exactly. Good for him.
12 hours.
I haven't seen any of that footage. I saw some stuff, like clips that was on one of the social media sites, and I just felt so sorry for her because she's such a fool. The audio footage that they had with him saying, or her saying, "Who's going to believe you? You're a white man. No one's going to believe you."
I think she's blowing coke. You see?
They said
she
that
keeps
she
going
was.
like
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
She keeps going like
but
that.
How did she do? Do you really believe she was doing that on the stand?
It was weird. The video was like, you saw her go like this.
Well, she's quite clever.
Remember, she's an actor.
And then she, started.
Well, I know, but sometimes they call it the South Beach sniffles or whatever. But sometimes legitimately people do have adverse effects to medication. Maybe she's on some type of, who knows?
Who knows?
But they said she was pushing the snot back up in her nose.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? 50-50, right? Who are we to judge?
Who are we?
But one thing's for sure, you might not have said, her lawyer asked Johnny Depp a question, and then her own lawyer objects to his own question.
I know.
Then they pull out the makeup, and the makeup that she said she used to cover up her face when he supposedly hit her or whatever, that makeup wasn't even made then. So the makeup company comes out and says, "Oh, we didn't even exist at this time period." And that's her lawyers that, who knows how much she paid for that.
She's such an idiot.
So
they're idiots too, obviously.
Yeah, kind of bad lawyers. But, but I'll tell you what, whenever you put on the news, there's a bomb going off in Ukraine. Oh, Johnny Depp's on. Boom, over to Johnny Depp.
Exactly.
Now, do you think they did that so that they could avoid... You notice that they went away from the war, they went away from the border, they went away from a lot of stuff that's going on that would make Biden look bad, like Johnny Depp. That was a gift from God from him for Biden, for the Johnny Depp case.
Well, listen, it's been nothing but COVID for what, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
And so when COVID began to become more and more known to be pretty much a fraud, that it's nothing more than the common cold for a lot of people, unless you have, comorbidities. They had to find something else. So what came along? War is always a good thing for distraction. But listen. Biden. Nobody has to make Biden look bad. He makes himself look bad. I feel so sorry for him. I think that it's elder abuse, and I think that his wife and his family they have no credibility, obviously, because they don't care about him. But they should get him off of there and say, you know what, Daddy, live your last days out in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, this is just my opinion. As crooked as he is, and the whole situation, and he's one dirty person, snake, and I can go on and destroying our country, but he's still a human.
Yeah,
and you don't ever want to see a human fall apart in the public. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know.
You know, it's just
sometimes you do want to see somebody get what's coming to them.
You do, but I just like he's got grandkids,
of course,
that are innocent, and he's losing it. He doesn't even know what
he's lost it.
I mean, it's going, and it's just going to get worse.
Right. But I mean, the thing is that look what's in line to take his place. Someone who is there because she's black and because she's female.
Yeah. I hope he just toughs it out for 2 more years and just guesses the days.
Well, I hope not. I hope that have you seen 2,000 Mules?
Mm-mm.
I heard about it. Yeah.
About
that.
What is it? About?
It's Dinesh D'Souza's film, and it exposes everything exactly how they stole the election.
What's it called?
2,000 Mules.
2,000 Mules. I'll have to watch that.
It just came out. It's unbelievable. I watched it the other night. I'll send you the link. I have it. I bought it.
How bad do you think they suppressed that?
Oh yeah, it's being taken down from everything now. But
no shocker.
They triangulated. They built a fence, a cyber fence on the digital. Not to get too deep, around these voting boxes that you put the voting ballot in. And you're only supposed to be able to do yours, or if you have your wife or your an elder or someone else you're taking care of, you can also deposit theirs. But there were people who were going to 35 different voting booths in the same day, depositing 10, 15 ballots. If you do that every single day, from October to November, I mean, we're talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of votes to sway.
And that's just one situation.
And
right?
these are just in key demographics, where it's going to be close. These are the states where it's make or break for the presidency. And so it's just, I mean, there's no way. You don't have to be Alberta Einstein to figure out. There's no way that man, Biden, got more votes than Obama did.
How about than any other president that ever existed?
Exactly. They went
a little bit too much.
Well, they had to inflate the numbers more and more because Trump had gotten so many votes.
Yeah. They went a little bit too far with 80 million over. I think they pushed a little bit. They had too many printouts, right?
What do you think?
Too many dead guys they pulled up off
the question I always have is, though, what do you think the answer to that is? Because I'm sure there's fraud that goes on both sides. And maybe not to the extent we're talking about, but there's definitely fraud that goes on both sides. So you have a mail-in ballot. We know what happens with that. We have you had the hanging chads from years ago and all that good stuff. Digitally, but that could be hacked. Is there a way to do a visual, a thumbprint? How do you fix it? Because I think you'll always have fraud no matter what.
I think we should have paper ballots, and you should get a receipt when you, just like at the grocery store. Here's your purchase. Here's your receipt. Walk out the door.
But do you think it should be like, is there access to, like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, if you vote, he votes, I vote, that everyone can, I mean, you don't want to see who people voted for, right? Because that could be a big issue.
Sure.
But just if there was a question that they can go back and call you up and say, hey, did you vote for Donald Trump? Be like, well, no, I didn't. But then it has on there you did. And that's a way to.
You would need a million. I think the only way that to really have it legit is physically, you have to go in. If you want to vote, you physically have to go in, show your ID that matches.
But voter ID or ID to vote is racist.
Oh,
didn't you know that?
Oh, that's another one now too.
What an insult to.
How the fuck is that racist?
Yeah, exactly. What an insult that is to the minority communities. And they have interviewed people and say, why do you think that they should not have to show ID? They go, well, a lot of them don't know how to access a computer or have a computer or maybe have a card to go and get. Like, are you kidding me? I have friends from every walk of life. I don't know anybody, whether it be black, brown, white, whatever, who doesn't know how to get to the DMV or how to get. I mean, it's so ludicrous that they just think that. See, I think that's the thing with white liberals. I think that they think that they have to take care of blacks because they don't think blacks are evolved as they are. I mean, that's really how they're when they say things. They won't say it when you break it down like that, but you don't, like I said, you don't have to be a psychologist to figure out what they're saying. It's really sad. I mean, I go to some banks, and to cash a check, they make you put your little index finger on a little ink pad and put your fingerprint on it to cash a check. Why can't you do that with a voting ballot?
Why can't? I bet you if there's money there, if you have money to get, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that wants their money is going to go in there physically. They'll find a way even if they have to ride a bike 3 miles. If there's $1,000 there, they'll ride a bike 3 miles and they'll go in, do the fingerprint and do it. And unless you do it like that, I don't see how you can get the integrity back. And how in the hell they're saying that it's racist because if you're in a low-income area that you wouldn't have Wi-Fi, as if there's not a library to go to, or as if you can't walk wherever you walk now to go vote. That doesn't even make any sense.
No.
As if there's no white people in low-income areas.
Oh, my God.
Or Spanish or whoever. You know what the fuck?
Everybody's mixed now, too. I mean, everybody's mixed.
Yeah.
I
mean...
I'm now checking mixed on my app when people say, what's the race? I put mixed.
But why isn't that, but why isn't that an option, though, too? Because my kids are half Hispanic, half white. When I fill it out, what do they fill out? White or Hispanic?
Well, if you want to be able to have access to things, you want to be seen like you're oppressed. So you say, oh, they're Hispanic. But I mean,
Isn't that crazy? Just thinking that you have to do
crazy.
that.
It is. But it's conditioning. It's governmental conditioning to say that, if you are like, how can Oprah Winfrey be considered to be oppressed? How can Kamala Harris be considered to be oppressed? She's Jamaican and Indian. She's not African. And she's a black woman, but I mean, she's also equally an Indian woman. So which is it? People play what they want to play. I mean, if I wanted to, I could say, oh, I'm transgendered, which I'm not. But if I wanted to get some types of leg up in society somehow, because it's the intersectionality. How oppressed are you? Well, if you're a white man, you don't have a word, so shut up. So they sit there and they now say about abortion, if you don't have a uterus, you don't have a vote. You can't say anything about a woman. Well, you wouldn't have a fetus in that vagina if it wasn't for a man. So whoever deposited that has a voice. And so they're now saying sex doesn't matter, that, men can have babies. So why can't men have a voice? So you have to, the rules for radicals, you have to hold them accountable to the rules that they bestow on us or you have to throw it back in their face.
See, I think the biggest problem with this whole movement, this is just my opinion, okay, is if you're trans, if you're gay, whatever you are, you want to be normal, right? Like you want to be treated normal.
Yes.
Okay. But then when you are treated normal, and for instance...
Not me, I want to be treated special.
Right. But I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that point. But, okay, so you want to be treated normal. Okay, now you're normal. Well, now, if you want to be treated normal and you go to a comedy show and you sit in the front row and you get made fun of because of whatever you are, whether you're straight,
fat,
gay, fat, trans, whatever it may be, drag. If you sit in the front row, you've been crying how bad you want to be normal. Now you're normal, but you don't want to be normal. You want to be treated special.
Sure, exactly.
And that's what all this shit is.
Exactly right.
Because now you're normal, right? But now if you go to a comedy show
you're fair
and you
game.
sit in the front row, fair game.
Fair game.
Anywhere else, if you're on social media, you're going to get made fun of, just like the fat guy does, just like the guy who gets Botox, me in the head. Okay, they break my balls in the comments about Botox, just like everybody else. But
I mean, if you're a fat guy sitting on the front row and the comedian makes a fun about you standing at the buffet for 4 hours, what do you expect?
Right. But that won't be all over the news and won't be this. But if it's somebody else, then it's a whole different ballgame. And that's, in my opinion, that's where all this problems with this area is that they don't want to be normal. They want to be special. Yeah. Most of them. I don't want to speak for everybody. Just a lot of what you see.
But when we're talking about 0.03% of the U.S. population is considered trans. Why is there such a huge, focus on equality for trans? Trans people, to me, the ones I know, they don't want to be considered gay. They don't want to be in the umbrella of gay. The trans girls I know who still have their penis, they say in their mind and they say out of their mouth to me, I'm a heterosexual woman in the wrong body. Well, good for you. But the way the government works is every alphabet, letter they add to that whole LGBTQ, they get more grant money from the federal government. So that's why it keeps expanding.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's how it works. I used to MC for one of the largest gay organizations in the country. And we had a trans woman who was a former Navy SEAL or something. I forget what her thing was, Army. Anyway, they were saying, she comes up, she says, my name is Hostess. She goes, and I'm a woman. And I just instinctively had the microphone on the MC of the night. And I said, I'm Elaine Lancaster and I'm a man. Oh, of course, the whole audience went, oh, how could you? You're making fun of her. I wasn't making fun of her. I was just, that's just, the joke's on you, nothing on me. I am a man in a dress. I have no desire. I don't want to have people just look at me. I mean, I want people to look at me and just think whatever they want to think. But don't be afraid to express yourself because, I always think that I am a vessel for learning. I'm here to teach you one way or the other. Either teach you how to kiss or
whatever. Hey.
whatever it is, I'm here to teach you.
A lot of different things possible.
That's right. That's me. I'm an open library book.
But that's you.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to be you, right?
Yes. Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I guess according to some people you're not.
But the thing is, I don't put more precedence over their beliefs than mine.
Right.
Like there's a song called I forget the name, but the words are, you didn't make me, you can't take it away from me. You didn't give it to me, so you can't take it away. It's called what's the name of it? Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But it's a song where it's just talk about God. God gave me this. You don't have the right to take it away from me. You can't take it away from me. It's called Unspeakable Joy. That's what it's called, the song. It's a fabulous song. It's a dance song. But it started out as a Christian song that was turned into a dance song. But I used to do it all the time. Obviously, I remember every word.
That is so wow. You
But it's
just
true.
blew my mind with that one.
But it's true. If someone doesn't give you something, how can they take it from you?
Yeah.
You had it before you met them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give it to you. They didn't give you permission to exist. That's the one thing how I think I rose to the top so quickly is because I used to ask in Dallas when I used to do amateur contests, I used to ask the other queen, oh, do you mind this one? And they would try to hold me back, and I let them. I gave them power. I was giving them over my power. So when I came to Miami Beach, I said, I'm not going to ask anybody for a damn thing. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm not asking anyone's permission to exist. And the moment I did that, bam, 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 just went.
Went right to the top.
Went right to the top and didn't look back.
And you also have, just in however long it's been, you have a great attitude. You don't care. You're you do your thing. And I think if everybody else followed the way you do things, this wouldn't be such a big thing. And I think Rob would agree with me because we've had the most alpha males in here you could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, they don't give a fuck. They don't care if you're gay. They don't care if you're a drag.
They don't care.
They don't care. But don't come around and act and want to be treated special.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned over the last 100 videos or whatever. The alpha of alpha that you would think would hate you and people like that, they don't. Mm-mm. But don't try to come into society as that you're this special thing where you're whatever.
In my experience, those alpha males are the first ones who will stand up for you.
Exactly.
They will be there to defend and protect you. It's the ones, the soy boys or whatever, who are going to have the video camera and videotape what takes place, but they're not going to lift a finger to try to defend you if you need defending. So that's why I've always migrated towards. I have 2 brothers who are, I guess you could say, alpha males, physically, mentally, everything about them. My father was the same way, but they're the most loving guys that you'd ever want to know. But they're also, don't F with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't you dare. Or else, it's not going to be a very good day for you.
And I bet you they don't have any problem with any of this.
Oh, no, of course not. When I was in high school, I was always picked on, but just barely, because my older brother was a star football player in high school, and everybody referred to him, that's Larry's little brother. They never even knew my name. Most of those guys, that was always Larry's little brother. Don't mess with him, that's Larry's little brother. And all he would have to do is walk, my brother would just walk through, and people were like, because he was so much bigger.
Yeah.
But he was, I guess you could say, a gentle giant. But during lunch period, everybody would hang out with their little groups of friends, and I'd come walking down in my red pants or whatever. Hey, come over here! And I'd stand there with all the little cheerleaders, and nobody ever said a word.
Well, because they knew that your brother, they had to deal with him at some point, right?
He can mess with me, but nobody else could.
Yep, that's good. Good brother. Good for him. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you're born in Alabama, but you grew up in Georgia, right?
Exactly, yes.
I can hear the Georgia in you. And maybe the Alabama.
I was born in Dothan, but we lived in a little town called Hartford. Hartford did not have a hospital.
Really?
So my dad had to drive my mother to the nearest town, which was considered, I guess you could say, bigger town. Whatever. It was called Dothan. I was born in Flowers Hospital. But we lived on a dirt road in Dothan, Alabama. Hartford, Alabama.
You were in the boonies.
And actually, we were, but we weren't. We had a dirt road, but it was like a neighborhood, if you want to say. There were houses around us. And
that's the boonies.
And the boonies. And everyone got along. The highlight for us was we had a above-the-ground pool. We had a lawnmower because my father was in the farm machinery business, that he had disengaged the blade. We used it as like a go-kart. Oh. And we had a wagon. We pulled a wagon. But we were friends with everybody. And there were little poor white kids and little poor black kids, and we all just came together and played.
Were you really born into luxury?
Elaine was, not me.
Okay.
Elaine was. Elaine always sought out luxury. Just because I have a refined taste, I think. And so I just automatically migrated toward it.
And then when you go to Georgia, when you leave Alabama and move to Georgia?
I was 5.
At 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then you grow up in Georgia. Now, when did you realize that Elaine was going to be in the future at some point?
I had no idea. I always knew that I was going to be in the entertainment business because I love to do magic tricks and stuff, but I never realized that drag was going to be the vehicle to take me there.
When did you start to think that or get the idea?
I'd seen a drag queen when I went to the University of Kansas, and I had seen a drag queen in the early 1980s when I had moved to Kansas City.
Congratulations, by the way. That's a good university.
Thank you. With my parents and my father. This is back in the day. I said, I'm not going to Kansas. I'm not going there. And Daddy opened up the encyclopedia, and he opened it up and he said, look, they've got a shopping city.
Oh, he sold you on that one.
Yeah, so a whole entire shopping city. They even have a Gucci.
Where do I sign up?
I said, they have a Gucci? And so,
do they have a Louis?
No, they didn't. But they later on had a Saks Fifth Avenue that had Louis. So anyway, it's called the Country Club Plaza, and it's absolutely beautiful. And Kansas City, believe it or not, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas, are so affluent. There's tons of money there. It's quiet money, though. Russell Stover's chocolates, all kinds of. The people there have just got tons and tons of money, but you would never know it. Well, you do it from their houses, but not when you're talking to them or see them walking down the street. Like Mrs. Pfeiffer, a lady who I knew, she says, here in Kansas City, we wear our fur on the inside.
Oh, shit.
On the inside of the coat, you know?
Yeah, because they don't want people to see all the money.
But when they would have events and stuff, I ended up waiting tables at the Ritz-Carlton when I was in college.
Good job.
So I've gotten to meet lots and lots of the wealthy people.
Networking must have been monstrous.
It was, I really wasn't into it then, but you would just get to meet them. And any kind of big production or anything that was coming through Kansas City, they all stayed there. So like the guy, what's his name? The author, Stephen King, he stayed there for like a month. Annie Lennox, the singer, she was on concert. She stayed there when she had just broken up with her boyfriend. And she came to the dining room one time and she requested me to bring room service to her. I said, I'm not a room service waiter. She goes, please. So when she ordered food, they asked me to come to the room service to take her food up. And when I got halfway down the hallway, I heard her sobbing, just crying. So every day I would take her food and she was just crying. She was in such pain. I met Michael Jackson there.
Did it?
Yeah. I knocked on the door and someone opens the door. He didn't hear the door open. I didn't hear the door. And he's standing there. He has a robe. Pulls his robe to go, ah!
Right there.
He ran to the other room. I was like, oh. You're not allowed to ask for
Did he moonwalk to the other room?
No, he ran. He darted. You're not allowed to ask for photographs. You're not asked for autographs. You just have to treat everybody like they're, everyone else. But I met Paul Newman and what was his wife's name? He was married to. They were making that movie called Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, I believe. And they stayed there for, Joanne Woodward. They stayed there for a couple months. Nicest people. I mean all.
What a job to have in college.
It was good. I was just a regular dining room waiter, but I had to go through extensive training, and then I did so well, I excelled. They asked me to be in the management training program, so that summer I got to go to the Ritz-Carlton Mauna Lani in Hawaii and open it, and teach their waiters how to be waiters, and then we just got to go all over and doing our thing. So I always thought that might be my future, was going to be in hospitality. It was, but in another way. It was with instead of an apron on, it's a wig on my head.
Was your major in college hospitality?
No, it was business and American history.
What made you so love the camera so much?
I've always been a ham. I've always just, loved attention. And I think I've always loved more than I'd like to entertain people. I like to make people smile and have a good time. Because it's not necessarily, honestly, about me. Because when I take it all off, I want it to be off. But I like to transform people, have people sort of come along and have a good time. Because drag can be extremely, extremely entertaining. And it is. I love drag if it's done right. So I've just did it, and I've did it very well. And so it's been good to me.
Well, like you say, humor fixes a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when all this shit with Chappelle and Will Smith and Chris Rock, him and I and, our guy, we were like, man, I hope comedy doesn't change, because, when you're having that bad day and everything's going wrong, you just want to laugh. Get your mind out of everything, go to the improv or rent a special and just laugh for an hour. There's nothing like laughing.
Yeah.
So when I saw that part of, kind of like the stick, is also to make you laugh.
Of course. Absolutely.
And there's nothing better than laughing. It's the best. And when all this shit was going on with these idiots, I was like, I hope they don't change.
And what's so sad? I would hope a comic would never sit there and self-edit while they're performing. Should I say this? Say it. Whatever it is, say it. I don't care who it is. I mean, have you seen the Queens of Comedy? Those women who, like, all black women who did it at Harlem at the Apollo Theater. I think it's called the Queens of Comedy. Yeah, the Queens of Comedy and the Kings of Comedy. That's some funny ass shit.
Funny ass Bernie Mac. After that. And then they had the women, and you were like, because the men killed, and then the women came and fucking killed too.
Absolutely.
But I was, but when somebody's jumping up on a stage with a knife, you might start re-looking at your material just naturally. I hope not. I don't think after talking to David Lucas, who knows him, and Rock and everybody else, they don't. I know David Lucas ain't changed. Like David is. He's like this big.
Is he a comedian?
Yeah, yeah. He runs with all those guys, and he wants somebody to run up.
Well, I wouldn't. Listen. The thing is, you don't want to have. Listen. The other day, I had somebody that was trying to mess with me at not a drive-through, but walk-up thing. And the woman had not given me my complete order. She was shorted me one of the items. And this is for my workers. I was taking the food back to them. And the guy goes, wait till I'm finished. I said, sir, I just want to get my other. And he pushed me. Of course, my animal instinct went in, and my car was right there. I opened my hatch bag up, and I got my little bat like this. It's like this big around. It's got a metal pipe in it. I said, you want to touch me again?
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I hated to have to go there. I said, I don't want to.
Nobody wants
to. But don't ever put your hands on somebody. That's how people get shot.
Yep.
And his wife comes out of her car and she pulls him away. I said, you need to talk to this guy.
And because of the way that they're handling our police, that's why this shit's just going out of hand.
You have to be,
And you can't blame the police, because when you're taking their pay away. You can't
blame the people either.
And you can't blame the people either, because they got free range now.
Yeah.
And then you want to undercut the police and pay them less than what they're already getting paid, when every day they're pulling somebody over and they don't know what they're going to get into.
Well, it's the Marxist movement in America that is systematically trying to break down the American structure.
What's Marxist movement?
Marxist is people who want to do away with Christianity. They want to do away with the nuclear family, with the mother and the father and the 2.3 children. They want to break down everything that makes America America. We are the most idolized nation in the world. They're doing away now with the petrodollar, which is everything is bought for gas is in the dollar, US dollar. They're doing away with that. So now Russia's going to start selling China oil, fuel, and if they do, it's going to be paid for in the yuan, which is the Chinese currency. That's going to make the US dollar tank. And so that's the whole thing. If there was a smart government running this, administration was running this government, they would know what's going on. Listen, all you have to do is look at what he did the very first day he took office. And he stopped taking away rights to pump and produce oil in certain areas like
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania for one, and they shut down the building of the Keystone Pipeline, and then Anwar, and said no more pumping oil there. And so it's the same thing he did in Afghanistan. He just pulled the rug out for the American people and just said the war's over. And you see what a debacle that was. How lives were lost, how all those billions of dollars worth of equipment and he knew, because he said it before, him on video, the first thing you do is you get the people out. Then you get the equipment out. And then the last thing to go is the military. You don't bring the military out first.
And leave 64 billion, or was it billion or million?
Probably billion.
So what is he doing now? What is he doing now? He said, we want to get away from fossil fuels. So what are they going to do? They're trying to, I don't care how much pain the American people have. They don't care about the American people. They could care less. All they care about is money. Money and power.
Money, power, and their agenda.
Exactly.
That's it.
And so if there's casualties of war along the way, so be it. So what they're doing is they're trying to, say we're going to go to gas or to electric power. But where does electricity come from? Coal power plants, nuclear power plants.
And what do you do with the battery when the battery dies?
There's no landfill. There's where they go. But not only that. But the thing is, they talk about it's clean coal. Come on, listen. Let's wing the American people off of fossil fuels a little bit at a time. But that's not what their agenda is. They want to do it all at once like they did in Afghanistan. And now you're seeing people can't even get baby formula for their infants. Why is that? They say, it's because it's not getting to market.
No. Well, remember, it's on the ship. It's on the ship.
Yeah.
Remember now.
Yeah,
it's still on the ship.
Yeah. But it costs $2,000 to fill up your big rig, your 18-wheeler. So how much do they have to charge to even make a profit? It's just, all of this is by design, and anybody who thinks otherwise is a fool. This is not Putin's problem or Putin's economy. This is Joe Biden's economy, and he's done it by design. And look at the numbers came out today, 8.3. If they're telling you that, it's got to be at least 12.
Yeah, because the inflation numbers came out today too.
Yes. So listen,
is that what it is? 8.3. I didn't see it.
That's what they said, but gas, in essence, I was reading a thing today in the Wall Street Journal, and it was talking about, if you figure this up, gas was $2.13 a gallon this time in 2020, 2 years ago. And then you take this and then you add in the inflation, it's actually a 200% increase in fuel cost. And there's a lot of families out there who live paycheck to paycheck. What do they have to cut out so that they can survive? Food? Medicine? They could have an elderly parent living with them. There's a lot of things to take in consideration. I thank God every day all I have is a cat. And even pet food's going through the roof.
Yeah, everything.
If you can find it. So it's just really sad the way that I'm surprised that more people are not out in the streets, protesting.
Now, who do you think's calling the shots? Because it's not Biden, because he doesn't know what day it is.
Well, I think Obama is the one who is the puppeteer.
Me too.
But also Susan Rice, who I cannot stand for various reasons. But they're all. It's a globalist. They don't care about. See, the beauty about Trump is America first. He wants Russia to be Russia first. He wants Japan to be Japan first. China be China first. Every nation should think about their people first and foremost. Not just say, you're a worker, that's all you are, you're dispensable. Work, and then die. He wants the America that I grew up idealizing and thinking was what the ideal of what America is be the best that we can be. We shouldn't have to say where we get our antibiotics from China. Our antibiotics should be made and manufactured in the United States. Our medications, look what happens with COVID. We couldn't even get masks. Masks were in short supply. And the ones that were on boats coming from China, that China turned the boats around and took them away. So that's why America First agenda to me is so important, because I care about those who really don't know what to do. I mean, I have neighbors, I have relatives. I mean, I live in little Haiti, and those people, of course, it's gentrified a lot too. But the ones who are still there, they don't know what to do, and I give them. I mean, they come over and ask me if they can have mangoes out of my yard. I say, take all you want, please, take them. Yes.
And you know how bad, when it's that bad, when somebody's coming over and saying, "Hey, can I take some mangoes out of your yard in 2022?"
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really,
but they did it in 2017.
Oh, okay. Well,
but still,
you missed that part.
But the thing is, they're coming more and more, and I was like, why don't you wait till they're fully ripe? They're not even fully ripe yet, and they still want to take them. I said, no, just wait, I'll get them for you. But the thing is that it's unfortunate. I mean, I employ these guys to work, for me, and I'm trying to get one of them to get, his working papers and stuff. He's got a wife and 2 kids, and I just don't see how they do it. And those landlords where they live are such a-holes that they are, just raising the rent, knowing that, you got nowhere to go. And I feel so sorry for them. I just think sometimes I can look at people and say, it is unfair. It's sort of, because if you are uneducated, you have bad credit, you're the ones who end up paying more when it comes to just everyday necessities. When you try to get a credit card or a home loan or a car loan, they're going to say, well, you got bad credit, you're high risk, so we're going to give you a 23% car loan. And they have no other option but to take it.
But then what do? You make everybody equal? You can't make everybody equal.
I know you can't, but there's got to be another way to, I would think, to have programs. Perhaps if the car is for, it's not your third car, it's your primary car and it's for work. They should have a program like they have, HUD and housing government subsidies. I don't know. I mean, I tell you that I can't say that I'm one thing or another because I'm so complex. I have views. I'm so empathetic on so many things that I see, and I know we're all humans. And I mean, if I could take care of, a whole neighborhood, I would. But the thing is just that I just think that the tables or the cards are stacked against. But it's also people who have been negligent with their credit that gets these high credit.
Yeah, it's a tough situation overall as to what to do, how to clean it up. You want to hear something funny that I read?
Mm-hmm.
So they did a study with rats. Right, they put a bunch of rats in to see what they would do, and they gave them everything they wanted, all the food they wanted, all the sex that they wanted, everything that they wanted. And what ended up happening, and now pretend now we make everybody equal, like we're all equal. If I'm rich, I give to the poor, so everybody's equal. So they did this study. They put all this shit in with these rats, everything they could ever want. And what ended up happening was they all started going into their little cults. One was like the clean rats. They wanted to be clean all the time. They went there. This rat, was angry. This one was the victim all the time, and they came in packs. And then they ended up killing each other. Every rat in there, and there was 100 rats in this study.
Oh, wow.
They all killed each other because they were all equal. So there was no progression. So it wasn't like only the strong survived. There was no progression with, I forget the saying, but there was no progression without one person having to work to get to the top.
Sure.
And if you don't, then this is where you are. If you make everybody equal, they end up killing each other because everybody's equal. And when you think about that and like process it, that's what would happen, I think.
You mean like in society you take up?
Yeah, over time.
The thing is, there is an absolute concerted effort to dumb down the American public, without question. So instead of trying to elevate people, they want to bring other people down, take away these programs in schools for gifted children who are, academically more accelerated. So they're going to do away with those programs because they don't think it's fair. Or they're going to say, you're Japanese or you're Chinese or you're Asian, you cannot have a scholarship, you cannot get into Harvard because there are so many people who are less than you who deserve that spot. Well, if it's merit-based, it should be regardless. You shouldn't have to put what color you are, what sex you are on an application. What are your SATs? What are your ACTs or whatever? And what are your extracurricular activities? And let's review it apples to apples.
Now, what's your opinion on them teaching young kids about sexuality what are they doing? Elementary school?
It's pre-K.
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 What is your opinion on that?
I think it's horrible. I don't think you should have talked about sex with anybody, regardless of what. And that's the thing. It doesn't say what type of sex. It just says do not sexualize it to children. People say, oh, don't say gay, Bill. It has nothing to do with being gay. You don't talk about sex to my kids.
Isn't that something that parents should do?
That's my job as a parent. That's my job to talk to my kids when the time is right. When they start asking questions, I'm going to answer them and say, and not yet, next year, whatever, in your head. But you don't sit there and say, well, my name is Bruce, but on the weekends, my name is Barbara. I dress up like a woman. Those things are fine outside the classroom, but you should not bring these things into the minds of children and start talking about sex. You just should not. I don't think of drag as sexual to me. I know that it is a sexual fetish to a lot of people, and I have capitalized on that before when there was somebody who was so daggone good looking.
You're smart.
I didn't have a choice.
You're smart.
Hey, baby, come on. But
hey, what are you gonna do?
But at the same time, I don't believe that you should sexualize kids. I think it should be. I think it should be higher. You shouldn't even. I think maybe 5th or 6th grade. I mean, I guess they could say a late bloomer, but I just didn't. I was just so naive.
But shouldn't school be to learn like our
reading,
history,
writing,
so you can become this whole sex thing and what you are? That's like you said. That's for home and certainly not for elementary school.
Of course,
I mean that's not even.
No, it's
like
horrible.
I'm at elementary school. You don't even know what you're doing. You're trying to figure out, you're at the playground. Am I going to kiss her today? Or you know what I mean? Do I kiss him first?
Or you pull her pigtails because you have a crush on her.
Yeah, and then by the time you're in 9th grade, you're snapping bras.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not trying to talk about this.
I used to get my bra snapped all the time.
I was good.
You know what the craziest thing is? So,
I wouldn't have known. I would have ran.
So they're trying I think it's like Peter Pan. I want to say Disney with Tinkerbell. They're trying to pull Tinkerbell because they say she's too sexual looking, like attractive looking or whatever like that. So they're trying to pull Tinkerbell off of Peter Pan. But hold on. So my nieces were in, and they said, "Oh, can we watch this movie called it's a kids movie called Turning Red." Oh, okay. It's a newer movie, Pixar, Disney. So you're watching it, and as an adult, you get it. As a kid, they don't see it. They're young kids. It basically was about this girl turns into this red monster, right? And you laugh at it, this cool red monster, but it's basically about the red is when she's getting her period and turning to a woman. That's what it's based off of. But they formed it to this red monster, and she's embarrassed, she hides in her room, and the mom's like, well, every girl gets the red monster, and I'm like, oh my God, but that's okay, but Tinkerbell's not okay.
Yeah,
I was just amazed.
I've heard that term used before, like the monsters in town, or whatever. Girls would use that term, or But
you're talking about first graders.
No. I mean, what the 13? What age do girls normally start menstruating? It's
younger now, they say, but I would say 10 years old, 11 years old.
I don't know.
No?
But no. That's something that the mother or the father, if they don't have a mother, whoever the guardian is, should be able to explain that to the child when the time is appropriate. Not a school. I mean, I guess a school should be prepared if the child needs, a tampon or whatever.
But you got boys in class too, so boys are seeing this show.
I know, but what they're doing now? They're putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Because they're saying that boys have periods too.
Now, is that crazy to you?
Of course, it's crazy. They're trying. That's just Marxism.
Yeah,
that's what Marxism is.
That's why I asked.
That's what Marxism is trying to. They're trying to. The thing about the Democrat Party is they don't build anything; they destroy. They can't build, so they tear down. They can't build and teach about the history, so they want to tear down the monuments that history are associated with. It's all about erasing and rewriting history.
That's why they went after the statues.
Everything.
Huh? That makes sense.
They want to rewrite the history in their vision. Just look at, have you ever read 1984?
I haven't.
Okay. Well, it talks about every statue will be torn down. Every street name will be changed. All history will be rewritten. Everything. And this is coming from a guy who is British. He wrote this. And it's just because I didn't know it was going to be a how-to manual because everything is just so in sync of what's taking
This guy's still alive? Because I'd like to talk to him because he's pretty on point, this guy.
What's his name?
George Orwell.
George Orwell. Yeah.
How the hell do you know
I
that?
read that book.
Yeah. But it's the thing about you can't find a copy of it anywhere anymore.
Bullshit.
You try to find a copy.
I'm
Cool.
kidding.
Yeah. But the thing is that good people have to stand up and they have to be heard. And I think when I first saw a couple months ago, parents going to these school board meetings and standing up and saying, "Hold on here, you're not teaching that in my kid's class." And they go, "Oh, but the kids they don't belong to you." What do you mean they don't belong to me? I'm a taxpayer. Regardless if I have children or not, I still have to pay for schools. That's a huge chunk of my taxes.
Great point.
Property tax goes to these schools. If I want to go there and say, "Hold on a minute, Miss Thing, you ain't teaching that." The thing is that people will say to me, "I cannot believe that you are a drag queen and you support a Republican or you support Trump." I'm like, I can't believe you don't.
And what do they say when you can't? But when you say to them, "I can't believe you don't," what do they say?
They don't know why they're just listen. I used to think that I was not the smartest one in the room sometimes, and I'm still not the smartest one in the room. But I'm so informed because I read all the time. I'm constantly reading. But there are people who are just parrots. They CNN, MSNBC, they're sponges. They absorb it and then they regurgitate exactly what they've heard.
Oh, you mean like these women that they just watch ID channel and TLC, and then if they see that the guy cheated on the girl and before he cheated on the girl, he had a drink of water, and then the guy comes in the house and he goes for the water bottle.
You cheating.
Now he's cheating, and fucking it's all
This
hell
plus
breaks
this
loose.
equals this.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I completely understand.
So the whole thing is that good people have got to stand up and they've got to have their voices heard and just say, "Not on my watch," because otherwise your childhood, as good as it may have been, is not going to exist for your children. It's going to be taken away, and it's not going to be taken away. It's going to be given away. The good people are giving it away. They're not fighting for it. And who was it that said, "Give them entertainment and give them food, and they'll never look up from their devices"? And this is somebody who wrote this in like the 40s. Their devices. Little do they know that we
Could not be more true, right?
and not know that little cell phones would exist. I mean, people say, look at things like what is it? Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Trek. Star Trek. Everything about Star Trek has come into pass. Like they had the little flip phones, and then the flip phone came about. And then you look at what's his name with Bart Simpson with the Simpsons.
Oh, The Simpsons is some shit.
Oh yeah,
They call everything.
everything.
So when you see The Simpsons, that one we've gone over this a few times because that will really throw you for a rocker, and then it makes you think: do they already know that this is all going to happen? Because some of this stuff is just a little bit too on point.
Yeah,
it's one thing if you're like, hey, in 20 years, a volcano is going to erupt. In year 21, the volcano kind of erupts.
Yeah,
but I mean, this is like spot on.
like 9/11.
Like 9/11,
Yeah.
The Simpsons called it. What else
Sure.
did the Simpsons?
I think they did the Trump thing coming down the.
Yeah, they did the Trump thing
they did.
before, way before he even said he was going to run.
Of course, but the thing is, he's coming down the escalator.
Do you think that the Simpsons and some of these? Do you think that they know?
I don't know what I know.
What do you think?
I don't know.
It's just so much, right?
I don't believe in coincidences, and there's too many
to be
no coincidental.
Way. Yeah.
No, I know in my heart of hearts that there is a force out there greater than the United States government or that's controlling things, and it's a very evil cabal. And I think that if we don't get a handle on it, things are going to go well. But so many people are apathetic. They don't really, well, if it doesn't affect me, I always say, you've heard the thing. At first they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't Jewish. Then they came for the socialists or the Teamsters. I didn't speak up because I'm not one. And then all of a sudden, and then they came for me, but there was nobody to speak up because they're going to come for you. They're coming for me today. They're coming from them tomorrow. They're coming for you next. Don't think that you're going to be protected. You got to speak up now, and you got to neuter these people so they don't have any more power over anything.
Just like the Ukraine guy. He says, when he was asking for help, he says, "Guy, they're not stopping with me.
No.
If you don't help me, you don't understand.
Exactly.
they're gonna get to you.
Absolutely.
Exactly what you just said. He said, and he's the one getting bombed left and right, and he knows what's going on.
Absolutely. He's there living firsthand experience.
Now, in the community, that you're around and how, not what the media says, how does the community feel about transgenders or a male that wants to be a female wants to be a male participating in sports? Like in the male arena or in the, you know what I mean? Vice versa.
I really don't know because I don't have those conversations with a lot of people in the gay community, but the ones that I do know from who are like conservative gay, I don't think that, just my thought, I don't think that if you have an XY chromosome, you should be able to compete against someone who has an XX chromosome, no matter what you call yourself. But it used to be follow the science until it comes to chromosomes, then don't follow the science. So that's why I say hold them to their own standards, hold them to their own rules. Don't let them, like what's her name who got that, the trans person who got the Woman of the Year.
Is that the swimmer that just crushed?
No, the one the one that looks like a man with a wig on his head that Biden put in his administration.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Carol Levine.
Yes, Levine, whatever.
From Pennsylvania.
Whatever. She's just like, you quit trying to tell me, holding up a banana and say, this is the perfect apple. That's not an apple, that's a banana. No, it's not. That is an apple.
No matter how you look at it.
Don't believe your lying eyes. I'm telling you that this is an apple.
Right.
Okay. Sure. You believe that's an apple. I don't believe it's an apple. Nobody that I know is going to believe it's an apple. No, a man should not be able to compete against a woman in collegiate sports or any sport.
You know who I really respected was Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
When she came out after all the shit that she got, and now this is a monster Olympic runner. I mean, he was
triathlon.
I mean, the best, right? And I think the Kardashians made him. He was just like, I'm done. I'm done with all these fucking.
You can't beat him, join him.
Fucking yeah, I might as well be with him because I think he was all right until then, and then that was like he just pushed him over the edge.
Yeah.
But for her to come out in her situation publicly, I really respected that because that's he's an athlete, a professional athlete, and he knows like how can you do that? You come on, you just can't. You train your daughter for 16 years to kill stuff, and then you throw somebody in the pool with different bone structure. I don't care how many hormones you give them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think that's how most people feel, but I think it's just you're like you're saying, watching TV and you're taking this in, right? Taking this in, and they make you like feel bad, like that they're all right, that they should. That's not nice. That's not nice.
But see, American people are so sweet. We're so compassionate. We are the most compassionate nation in the world. I've traveled all over the world many times, and I've always, with my very first trip, my first trip I went to was to Athens, Greece, and I was 17 years old, and I went on spring break. And when I was on the plane, I was looking out the windows, all these military guys with these straps and machine guns around them. I thought, oh God, what's going on here? But they were everywhere, all over the town. I thought, I'm so glad I don't live in a place that they have this. Thank you for, having me living in America. I went to Cairo, Egypt, same thing. I thought, who wants to live like this? But the more and more I see how they're trying to break down the structure of the country, they're trying to make crime commonplace. Oh, so what? You got your purse stolen. Who cares? Oh, who cares they broke into the Louis Vuitton boutique? They got insurance.
While everybody filmed them on their camera running with everything from the Louis Vuitton boutique, which they could just take that camera and find out who it is very easily. They don't care.
They don't care.
It's going to take them going to some of these big government officials' houses almost.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, or somebody that...
Something crazy will have to happen.
Well, I mean, look, they're out there telling and doxing these Supreme Court justices, telling them this is where the conservative justices live. They're not saying where Sotomayor and the other.
What the hell is that all about?
Why is their address not also out there as well? And the thing is, Republicans are too good. They're too polite. They don't know how to fight fire with fire, unless you are Matt Gaetz or other ones, Marjorie Taylor Stone. They know how to fight. So I think that's what it takes. You're going to have to take their recipe and use it against them.
It's the only
because
way.
there's nothing based on the truth with the Democrats. It's all lies. Everything is inverted. They'll tell you that, oh, the economy is in ruins because of Donald Trump. He set us up for this situation. It's in ruins. Or the economy is in ruins because of Putin. No, the economy is in ruins because you gave away trillions upon trillions and trillions of dollars. And so you deflate the value of the U.S. currency. So things are going to naturally spike. And if fuel cost goes up, getting products to the market is going to go up. Everything's going to go up. It's a cycle. And it's just, it's an unfortunate thing that people are like, well, is it Putin?
Yeah, well, you hear it enough.
Yeah, of
know,
course.
if I tell you 100 times a day, is Putin, is Putin, is Putin, eventually it's Putin.
I go,
right?
oh, have you changed your name, Biden?
That's why I think when they have even an election, this would be fun. It'll never happen, but like almost like a dating game, right? Where you would just have lists. Candidate A, candidate B, no names, no faces. You have no idea who it is, and just go through all their things. And we may agree on this, and maybe not on this, right? But go down the whole list, and I can guarantee you, if you had those things on both sides,
with no picture, you have no idea who it is.
No idea. There would still be people that would vote on the other side, right, with different things. I guarantee it'd be an overwhelming support for one candidate.
Yeah,
and then when you reveal it, because
it would be
goes,
high anarchy.
Everybody goes, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
Yeah,
I'm almost at the point. Just get rid of it all. Just fucking get rid of it and just vote for a person, and that's it. Because they go by
I'm a
parties,
policy voter.
That's it.
Me too. Whoever's best.
I mean, have you seen the things that they do, man on the street or whatever, when they go out and they'll say, can you believe that, no, they'll say, do you agree with these policies that Joe Biden has put forth? And they would list all these policies, and everybody's, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so, well, as a matter of fact, all 12 of those were Trump policies.
Yeah, you used to do that? Jesse Walter. Remember when, who was in here that was working for him? Bill O'Reilly. When Jesse Walters was working with Bill Waters. He's funny. He's really funny. When he would go out for O'Reilly, he would ask those questions.
You had Bill O'Reilly in here?
No.
Oh.
Who did we have in that worked? We had somebody in that had worked for Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, when he was in, and I remember Jesse going out and asking, and
man on the street. That's it. Yeah,
man on the street, and they would have no idea about anything at all, nothing. Completely brainwashed by the media.
Look at Candace Owens. Candace Owens. She goes out and she used to go out and people would she automatically assume, well, she's black, she's got to be a Democrat. And she would ask them questions and engage them. And they're like, you're making sense, but I don't, how can I agree with you?
But it's because they're trained to say, on both sides, they're trained to say, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. Yeah. Come on, guys, get rid of that shit. Just, you're not.
Well, that's like
you're not.
The gay community.
Not nowadays.
The gay community the leadership will tell the communities all over the country that this is who we're supporting. This is why we're supporting them, and da-da-da. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Am I supposed to be, my sexuality first and foremost comes before all of my other needs to be met? Because I'm not looking at the world through my eyes. I'm looking through my nieces and nephews. What's going to be best for them? Not for me. My life's going to be great regardless. So I would always sit there and I would always deviate from it. And people go, oh, hold on a minute, Elaine. Not so quick. You can dress any way you want, you can act any way you want, but don't you dare step out of line with our thoughts. This is what we tell you to think. I'm like, nobody's ever told me what to do.
So it's the same thing there, too. It's the same thing.
That's what it is. It's just generalization. It's like if you ask somebody, the gay community, are they Democrats or Republicans? I guarantee the overwhelming people would say Democrats.
No, yes, of course.
If you say poor African Americans, Democrats. Rich white men, Republican. It's a generalization that we've been raised. I was raised the same way. If you're a union person, or not even a union person, but
you're
if you're
Democrat.
who grew up, you're a Democrat. You got to support that. If you don't support that,
not anymore.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, back then.
Back then.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Did you see when he went out and they did the questions and they said, who in office? Who that has been in office in the last 8 years put the most African Americans away? This was asked to an African American. They go, Donald Trump. Asked a bunch of other questions. Then they go back and they go, well, actually, Donald Trump let out the most African Americans as president. And what's her name? I'm having a brain dead. Kamala has put more African Americans away than any other judge in the planet.
For minor crimes like marijuana when she was Yeah.
Decades, and they're like, oh, really? Yeah. She put more African American than any other judge times a million.
Listen, if you are part of a minority group, the members of your own minority group are going to be the worst on you. They're going to be the ones who are going to be nastier to you. They're the ones who want to punish you more. They're going to want to see you fail. It's a sad thing. I mean, I know from when I was growing up and having black friends, I would hear because black women always liked me. Black girls always liked me, and I was always hanging out. And they would let their guard down. But the way they would gossip was like, oh, she's black as tar. Oh, she said it was always about, oh, you know that light skinned girl, you know the one who has the high yellow. That's how those are the descriptions, how they would describe other, and it was always based on skin tone, the degree of blackness. And I thought, you know, and so in white girls would just say, oh, you know, the fat girl or the thin girl or the one with the color hair or whatever. But in black girls, oh, the light colored eyes. It was always, and then you would see. You know, they're saying that, oh, white, now they're saying the white man, blue-eyed devil, light-eyed devil. But yet you see these stars like Beyonce have blonde extensions or blonde weaves and contacts. So why are they trying to emulate these things that they say are evil?
And then it goes the other way. You'll see the white guy with the baggy pants, the hat backwards,
Exactly.
97 diamonds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing against either. I'm
No,
just saying.
but you're right.
Yeah.
But it is. Why is this that and you get criticized for? I mean, I remember when I was young, I used to think I wanted a fur coat as a young guy. I want a fur coat, and people say, "Oh, you look like such a faggot in that coat." But then 5 years later, you see these hip hop guys in fur coats.
They all
and
got
it was
it.
all of a sudden cool.
Yeah. That they didn't pay for. They rented.
Whatever.
So I'm just joking.
It was but all of a sudden it was cool. And I thought, well, I got criticized for wearing mine, and now it's cool because, you know, I don't feel. And they had all this flashy jewelry, and these are things that are considered, I guess you could say, feminine to anyone who's looking at them when you're adorning yourself this way. I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was glamorous.
You were you.
It was me.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with being you.
But at the same
you're
time,
not pushing yourself on anybody.
And here you go. But here, you know, when it becomes, you know, embraced by certain segments of society, is all of a sudden cool.
Yeah, now it's the trend. Now it's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? And I'm asking you these questions because they're always brought up, and to have you here so you could speak and people know how you really feel, not what's on there. When I say on there, on the internet, you know. How do you feel about the military with all this? Letting trends in, you know, how if you go to war and you're called to war, you don't have hormones when you're at war.
Exactly. Well, the thing is this, is that the next war you're not going to, I don't think, it's not going to be in the trenches. You're not going to be out there in the fields. It's going to be with drones and little joysticks bombing these nations. I mean, or either a nuclear war. That's what's going to
Or something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. But I don't believe that you can't be flat-footed and be in the military. You can't be diabetic and be in the military. There's a lot of things that preclude you from being able to be in the military. And if you are going through hormone therapy, that can affect your state of mind, your moods, the physiology of your body and stuff. I mean, it's a very slippery slope. I think that if you serve your country and then you become transgendered, you know that you should be able to go ahead on.
Yeah, I mean when you're actively in it.
I don't
because if you can't be in it if you have diabetes, then why would you be allowed in it when you're taking hormone medication that you need? The reason why the person with diabetes can't be in it is because if you're stuck somewhere and you can't get your insulin, you're going to die or not be able to perform or get killed, right? So there's no difference.
No difference at all. I mean, there's a whole litany of things that preclude one from being.
I just think there shouldn't be, Elaine. I think it should be very clear. Like,
yeah,
you're a man, you're a woman, and there's certain things, you know, it's for everyone.
Well, then the argument on the flip side of all that, they're going to say, well, that used to be the same mindset when it was about the races. They didn't want to have black people in the army because they thought there was going to be a disruption to the morale. But you see where we are now. So I don't think it should be just man. I think everybody, I think there's a lot of screwed up people out there, even more so today than there used to be. But I think that if you have to depend on a certain type of medication to perform your duties, and you are in a active war, you shouldn't be able to. I mean,
yeah, I agree 100% with you. Once you're out of it, do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But if you're active, you get caught at any time. And it just, to me personally, not, and I respect anybody's decision and what they think. But when it comes to that, you know, it just doesn't make any sense.
What if it's like an office dude? Not an office dude. What if it's like a
secretary,
like a communications part where they're not active combat? Because I've heard that before too. People are like, well, what if they're in the military, but they're not going to be fighting on the ground? They'll be, you know, a control tower.
Listen, there are a lot of intelligent transgender people. I mean, what was the one who won Jeopardy? It was a man who was. There are a lot of, because oftentimes, if you are restricted from a certain sense, let's say, for example, somebody who is blind, their hearing is extremely keen and perceptive, or vice versa. They have no hearing, their vision is like, you know, a cat or a dog. They see and absorb everything. So people who have oftentimes been ostracized, they become recluse, or they become book smart. They sit around and do nothing but read. There's a lot of smart, you know, look, what's the one, Chelsea Manning? Those types of things. These are arguments that can be put forth. I always try to see things from both perspectives. But I just think as a general rule, I don't think that you should be on hormone medication and be in active duty. Just don't think it's not good for the morale and the cohesion of the military. And the military is not an experiment.
Yeah, it's life and death.
Yes.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
It can be. I mean, just because you're not deployed in an active war zone right now, it could all change in an hour.
Exactly.
You got to be ready.
100%.
Combat ready.
You gonna tell me if you slept with Colin Farrell?
Of course.
Oh, you did?
No. Of course I would tell you.
Fuck! I tried to sneak that in there. I thought I'd catch you off guard. Fuck! I tried. I did my best. I failed.
I kissed
Tried.
him. I kissed him.
I did. You did? You kiss?
Yeah, I kissed him. Yeah, I kissed him in front of a lot of
I'll
people.
take that.
I kissed him in front of Jamie Foxx.
Did it in front of Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a witness.
Yes.
All right. Okay, I'm good with that.
And it was, we kissed a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah, of course.
Is he cool in person?
He's a super sweet.
I think he's a great actor. What's he doing? Where's he been? He hasn't
I don't
popped
know.
up lately.
I see him from time to time, and I still go, oh.
Give him a call and say, hey, buddy, when is your next movie? Where you been?
Listen, he does a lot of films in Europe and stuff as well, too. He's still good looking. He's still a great actor. He's a super nice guy.
A lot of times, like really good actors like him, they'll lean over to the directing and the producing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when they do that because they're such good actors, you know?
Yeah.
Good guy. So he did. You made out with him, huh?
Made out with him.
Did he get to first base? Anybody get to first base, second base?
Honey, in my mind, I got a home run.
We'll take it, right?
No, he's something special. Yeah.
So tell me about your makeup line.
Oh,
what gave you the idea
cosmetics?
to do that?
Well, I used to take two different lipsticks, and I would mix them together to make the color that I wanted to achieve because I couldn't find it anywhere. It was Cocoa Pink from Coco Chanel, and then number 112 from Yves Saint Laurent. And so I would take the two, and I would just take a little bit, and I'd take a hairpin, and I'd mix them together, and then I'd take my lip brush, and I'd pat it on. Everybody go, oh my God, I love that lip color. Where do you get it? And I'd say, I make it. Oh, you quit lying, Elaine. What color is it? I'm not gonna, I just want to know. I said, I'm seriously, I combine these colors to make it. And so, I could save that with in a little like thing that would keep it from drying out. And I was doing drag so frequently, I'd, go through that in a week. At any rate, so I was talking to a friend of mine who has a skincare line in California. And I said, I want to start my own cosmetic company. And he said to me, well, this is what you need to do. So he put me in touch with somebody who has their own huge line, but they also do private label. And I can't tell you who they are because I signed a contract.
Sure.
Because their same exact thing that I sell mine for is like there's like $20-something more. And so if I'm selling the same product in a different packaging for less, it's going to harm their business. So anyway, I went and flew out to California and met with this company, met with the guys and the chemist, and I just told them what my ideas were. And I came up with my first color, which was Poussoir Pink. and it was the
color that you had
color.
mixed, and
And
you
I
really
took-
couldn't find that color out
No,
of
I could
all the
not find-
lipsticks. You
no.
could not find it, huh?
I could not find it, and maybe it was psychological. That's it right there on the top of the book. See that next that
Down
pink
right there?
Yeah, that's Puss.
Click on that one, Rob. So that's the color you couldn't find, huh?
That's the color I made. So Puss White Pink,
Oh, go back.
and
I want to just see it.
yeah,
So this one?
yeah, you can
Yep.
there on the bottom right.
Yeah.
That's not really a great depiction of the color. It looks a little too, but it's like a fuchsia, purple fuchsia,
Mm-hmm.
and so I created the color, and that was my only color, and I just did it as more like a gift to give to people. When people say, "What color do you use?" and here you go, take it. So then I created another color. I created this like an orange color called shrimp, and then I created this very berry. All these little colors. I was gonna be naughty.
Now, is that brown one? Is that the shrimp?
No, that right there is a sort of like a flesh tone with glitter in it.
Oh, okay.
So it's more like it's beautiful. But
Right now we can get this on Facebook.
you can figure. Yeah, I have a website, but it's being redone. Dimitri is redoing my website, which is Elaine Lancaster Cosmetics.com. But right now you can go to Elaine Lancaster Cosmetics on Facebook and you can order it. I have 12 different shades, and the reason why I didn't, there's Pamela, she wearing my lip gloss. So the thing is with me is I didn't want to call them naughty names. People, oh, you got to call them really, I said no, because little girls I was hoping would be attracted to this, which they are.
You want to appeal to everybody,
See
right?
the one, see me in the afro down there? That's Puss White Pink. But go to the picture.
That's a good picture
Yeah,
of
go to the bottom left. That one.
Right.
That's the color. That's a very good depiction of the ideal color for me.
Hell of a wig there.
Yeah, I was doing the donkey show. Casey from Casey and the Sunshine Band. He and I
Yeah.
were the hosts for the donkey show when it was at the Adrian R. Center. So anyway.
When do you think the site will be updated and done?
Well, the thing is, we go through what's it called? The company is called I forget the company we go through, and they have a little. It's sort of like a template. And what's the name of the companies? It's
Do you have any idea? You can search for it.
it's okay. But anyway, so there are templates, and Dimitri did that photograph.
That's nice.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I was emceeing 100-year anniversary of Miami Beach. We had Gloria Estefan and we had Barry Gibb and and that was my performance, and he captured it. And anyway, so I have all these wonderful shades of lipstick, and some of them you can't
find them.
anywhere else. Maybe you can, who knows? But there are slight variations.
Stick with you can't find them anywhere else.
Well, yeah, but the thing, I mean, they send me the various samples, tubes, and say which one do you like the best, and I give them an idea what color I'm looking for, and I put them on my hand. I'll say, that's not quite right. Can you add a little bit of this to it? Can you add a little more yellow to it, or a little more blue? And they'll change the color. They'll send me to me. Sometimes it takes, a couple of weeks or longer to get the right color.
Especially if you're very particular.
And
There's
a
a bunch of them.
There's a few
Yeah,
different-
that's not good lighting.
Is that clear one the one that makes your lips shiny?
That's just it's equivalent to MAC makeup has a thing called lip glass.
Glass,
It's
yeah.
like that, but it's extremely wonderful. It's got no parabens in it, and it's got vitamin E. So they're
for you.
not only are they luscious, they're also healthy, nutritious.
And a clean label. The label is very clean.
Yes.
It's a very clean. It's a classy label. That's how I would
thank you.
recommend it. A classy label. So you're pretty close to Pam Anderson.
I am, unfortunately, I am very close with her.
I just finished watching that series about Pam and Tommy. They did a series because I really like Tommy. I thought he was cool as shit.
I like Pam.
Do her and Tommy still get along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They were the perfect.
They have
couple.
kids together.
I
so-
know, but I mean,
I know.
they were the perfect couple.
I haven't seen that. And I don't think I'm ever going to watch it.
Don't. Yeah, you probably. No, they didn't depict either of them bad. They depict the guys who stole the fucking video bad. That guy stole that damn video. He went to 90,000 different places trying to sell it, and they were like, "Do you have the rights?" Nope. And then he ended up going to some shack. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
He went to some shack, literally like a shack for some guy to buy. The guy bought it for peanuts because they went to everybody else. They're like, oh no, we're not doing this. So he literally goes to a guy where he meets him in a hotel room, knocks on the door to the hotel room. Nobody will take it, so they take peanuts. Then that guy makes up a fake document as if he did have the rights and sold it to whoever. And then eventually I think it got to Vivid or one of them and blew up.
Well, I thought it was a direct mail order. You could just like order it online or whatever.
Well,
VHS.
I think, it came to that, but like in the process of them trying to sell it,
Oh, sure.
it's just really messed up. And nobody wanted to take it because at the time everybody loved Pam and everybody loved Tommy.
They do love Pam. You know, Pam's starring right now on Broadway.
Yeah, she's making a good comeback.
She's Roxy
Good for
Hart
her.
in Chicago, and she's getting rave reviews, and we're going to go up there and see her
Good for
before
her.
her run is over.
She's the first woman to just run around in a bathing suit and just kill it.
Baywatch.
With Michael Knight from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
That
was a hell of a thing because, as I was growing up, I watched a lot of Knight Riders.
Sure.
So then when I got older, I'm like, is that Michael Knight? You know what I mean? He's running around.
Well, that was his name, his character's name?
Yeah, he was Michael Knight in Knight Rider, and the car was Kit. And he would talk to the car back and forth. So every kid my age would watch Knight Rider because you could talk to the car, tell it what to do. He was saving everybody. And then, 10 years later, there's the Kit guy from Michael Knight with the black car in, board shorts with Pamela Anderson running around that every 13-year-old on the planet is, what time's it on? 5? Shit. Right?
Every gay boy was looking at her too. Going,
everybody was looking
I'd like to be like her.
Hell yeah.
Listen, let me tell you what. I've met David Hasselhoff through Pamela many times. He's a super nice guy.
Is he?
Very nice.
I love him from Knight Rider.
He seems very smart, and I've only been, like to Vegas and stuff with him and did dinners and stuff, but just what I know.
Now, let me ask, how can they do? Would she have had to have signed off on that show for them to do that?
I have no idea. I don't think so. I think she has the grounds to sue.
Good.
I don't know if she's going to, but I would. I mean, if you're still alive, and someone is, but I know that she struck a deal with the Netflix, and she's going to tell her story.
I think it was on Netflix.
Oh, really?
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not. You would know more than me.
No, I wouldn't know, but I don't think it was Netflix because Netflix wouldn't be doing something to counter. I don't know.
Do me a favor. Google the Pam
and
Tommy's document 2022 and just see who that's through. I do think it's through.
I think it was through Amazon.
And while he looks that up, a little bit off topic. After you came out with Trump, how much would you say you lost? You don't have to say like a figure, but how much of a?
Oh, I lost my total income, my extracurricular income. I've lost. I didn't lose my rent income from my property, but I lost my
events,
everything,
all because you came out for Trump.
Every bit of it.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It's horrible. But that was the thing. People would say Hulu.
Yeah,
Hulu. Okay.
People would say, she looks just like Pam.
Yeah.
People would.
It was hard at first. I really thought it was fucking Pam and Tommy.
Mm-hmm. People would say to me online, "I won't be happy until I see you on the street corner with a cardboard sign saying I will work for food."
Asshole.
I said, "Well, you're never going to see that." I didn't respond. I didn't respond to people.
Yeah, don't feed into them.
People would screenshot it and send it to me, and I think, "Are you happy?" They go, "Oh, Elaine, look how evil these people are," and they're like, "Huh?" Like they were sort of happy too that I was, I don't know, I don't care. I do believe that, the same when a door's closed, a window is opened. I think greater things are coming for me.
I'm just so happy that you never gave up.
I think if you don't have a strong foundation, which comes from your upbringing and your family, you could get lost easily. I see why people would commit suicide. Children who are bullied in school, or even older, who can't take it. But I laugh at them.
Yeah.
Like do you think you're gonna break me? You're coming for the wrong queen.
Well, what are we gonna do when you give everybody a trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the thing is that
it's crazy.
I laugh at people's face to think that they think for a split nanosecond they have any power over my destiny.
See, everybody needs to be like that. You should go out and do speeches.
But really. I think people do. I think people have it. They just don't know they have it.
But you should bring it out in them because you have it. Because people will pay attention to you because they'll look at you and they'll be curious.
Yeah.
And then they'll listen to you. And you're very smart. You're quick. You're a whip. You're not getting past you. I can tell that already.
Well,
I'm not getting by on
there's so much that I hear every day that I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And I learn, and hopefully I can retain it. But, there's just so much information out there. You can't know everything. And they're talking about, they want to implant this chip in your brain. This you
Neuralink.
But you know what? I'm not so opposed to that.
I'm not opposed.
Because you know how many times, they would use it for nefarious reasons against this. But if I could only one who could access it, I'd be fine with it. But you know how many times I go, Alexa, tell me such and such. Or I'll go, hey Siri, tell me that, those sort of things. Because you don't know. I don't even know a lot of people's telephone numbers. When I was little, I could tell you every relative's telephone number and their address.
We got the phones now. Back then you had to know because we had phone books and everything else.
But I knew. My mother used to go, what's my mom's telephone number? I go, it's 404, and I knew it.
Yeah, like I remember my mom's home number, and that's really not too many other numbers.
You didn't have to, but back then you didn't have to dial the area code.
Yeah.
But if you lived in town. But I could tell you everyone's street address.
That's right, you didn't.
Yeah.
Wow, never thought of that.
I could tell you everyone's street address.
Yep.
I can still to this day tell you every address where we've ever lived. Zip codes, everything. I could tell you, I was just, my mother used to say, or my father used to say, that kid doesn't forget a thing. Got a memory like an elephant.
You're an elephant. I was just gonna say. So don't mess with you because you're like one of those people. I'll tell you what. You're like a friend of mine. If I own 5 cents from 15 years ago at the pizza shop, I'll hear about it for 15 years about that 5 cents.
Sure.
Really, he will. $1.
Yeah.
Hey, you got that $1 from 5 years ago?
Just take it out of that $1 I owe you.
yeah, right.
Well, like a friend of mine, he says to me, he goes, I wish to God you would remember some of the good things I did for you instead of all the bad shit I did to you. I said, I remember that too. I just don't verbalize it.
Now, within all the Trump thing, then they come out in Miami that you're within the top 12 that tarnish Miami.
Oh, yeah, according to that.
Yeah.
That failing
did I say it right? Yeah.
The Miami New Times said
the word I can't say, Elaine. How the hell do I miscreants? Can't they just say assholes if that's what they want to say?
How do you think the picture of you looks? Is it
I don't
good?
think it looks
Could
very
they
good.
have done better?
No.
Could they have done better?
Well, yeah, my mouth opens bigger than that.
Well, at least they did a good job on Steve Bannon.
Yeah, he's got something coming out of his mouth.
That's pretty much what he looks like in real life.
Uh-huh.
They were pretty nice to you in the picture.
Well, I really don't care.
I know. That's with you.
I used to say, like Andy Warhol used to say, don't ever read what they write about you. Just measure it.
Like they gave Trump a belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he might have a belly, but he's quick as smart as can be at his age. How old is Trump?
77, 78.
You would think he's about 55.
76.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not here as an apologist for Trump. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with that he's done or said, but he's a street fighter.
Yeah.
And you don't put a street fighter in a certain position or elect them into a certain position and don't think that they're going to use every tool in the tool shed. You push me, I'm gonna push you back twice as hard. You mess with me, I'm gonna mess with you. And that's the way it is. I always thought, why is he punching down? These people are so beneath him. Why does he even respond?
Because he hits back. He's a hitter.
He hits back. Don't come for me or I'm going to come for you. I'll grab you by the throat and strangle you.
I'll tell you what. I don't think he thought he was going to win. And I think when he walked down.
I don't think he did either.
And I think he was shocked when he walked. But I bet you when they went like this to him and he saw what the fuck was really going on, I think Donald Trump as a man completely changed. When he saw what was really going on.
But see, I don't think he saw everything that's going on. I don't think they showed him everything.
Oh, no, I'm sure. But
the CIA is so corrupt. Yeah. Oh, my God. The NSA is so corrupt.
Oh, my God. The CIA.
Listen, they're
all of them. But just the little that they did show him, I think just flipped him. And really, America was number one because he doesn't need to do this.
No,
he's got a beautiful wife, great family, great business. Why in the world would you put yourself through this? Only one reason, because you love the country. And I think when he saw the little that they showed him, it was enough that it clicked, and it was like, wow.
So you're a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I did.
First time?
Yeah.
Second time?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, the second time I couldn't. Oh. I got away with it the first time.
Oh, okay, good.
They gave me a card, even with a felony. The second time I couldn't. I got nailed.
Well,
they strickened up the second time. Anybody. But if I would have went in, I bet you, and I would have said, hey, I'm going to go for Biden. They would have been like, go ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
Now, you were on the Bravo Miami Housewives, but you weren't a housewife. You were a friend of a housewife.
I was a friend of a housewife. Yeah, I was a friend of Leah. She was the sort of star of the show, and so I was on it, and I sort of dominated season 2. Season 1, I had no speaking part. You'd never heard me say a word. You saw me. Season 2, it was all about Elaine.
Now, did they reach out to you?
Leah Black, to her credit, she's the one who said, "I'm not going to do it unless my girlfriend Elaine can be on it with me," because we were very, very close. And then season 3, I had a peripheral, role. So, which was good because I had gone out and I publicly said that I thought that reality television was the downfall of Western society. Because I do believe it.
It is.
I mean, the way they try to pit women against each other, and so they didn't like for me to saying that, and they edited everything, which I shouldn't have done. I was just doing it for the money, and I was also doing it for the notoriety to get the the attention. Sure. But as a result of that, you got huge amounts of money for appearances when the season was going. Even if you're not a main character, if they liked you, they would give you money.
Now, how long does it take them? Like you were the main big time in season 2, right?
Right.
Now, season 2, how long did it take to finish that?
I think it was 14 or 15 episodes.
And then, but how many hours or days or months
tons,
or whatever? I'd hate to be that editor.
A lot.
Imagine being that editor.
Nope.
Well, there's not just one editor.
A lot. Yeah,
There's only one?
I know there's not only one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's not only one editor, and there's not only one producer. Every main person has their own producer. And so, like me, I was just, a supporting role, I guess you could say. I shared producer with the main character, with Leah. And they would say things to me like, "Oh, last night at the cocktail party, can you believe Marisol said this about you?" I said, "What'd she say?" And I was such a sucker. Got my blood all boiling. I go, "Where's that bitch? Let me see her. Let me see her." Meanwhile, I'm mic'd. So when I see her, "What'd you have to say last night?" The fight was on.
Oh, they have an ear thing on you all the time?
I'm not you don't have an ear
Up.
You're mic'd up, though. You have a microphone on you.
Yeah.
A hidden microphone.
Oh, but they set you up prior.
Yeah, they didn't set you up. They just tell you the stuff behind your back. And I finally figured out how it worked.
Break to me how down it works. Break it down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is not totally fake. It's not wrestling fake, but they have an idea what direction they want things to go. And they do it because they feed you all the information that they feed you. And like when everybody's sitting around getting drunk, drinking, I'm sitting there and I'm drinking this much alcohol.
You're the smart one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest is ginger ale in the champagne glass because I know they're going to try to get me drunk to see me go crazy.
Smart move.
It's a short go for me to go crazy. I say, I can go from 0 to bitch in 2.3 seconds. Don't start.
Well, if you took all of the reality shows like that and add them together, let's just say couples, the ones that, that have relationships, what percentage do you think after that's done separate?
A lot.
A lot, right?
Yeah, a lot. Well, I think, reality shows and drag queens, these are things that reveal, you take a drag queen and you put her in a social setting, it's like adding alcohol to the punch. It doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. So my presence oftentimes would reveal females' insecurities, the women on the show. There were women on the show who would say, "Oh, she shouldn't come to the party. She's just going to suck all the oxygen out of the room." And how's she going to do that? Just by being there. They wanted to be the focal point of the evening. Well, if you want to be the focal point, I suggest you put on a little bit more makeup or dress yourself a little better because you're a dowdy or you're this or you're that. And granted, and these are people who have hair people, they have makeup people, and yet they still don't know how to pull themselves together. I do everything myself. And I just always say, go over, just be larger than life. But yeah,
well, look at the Kardashians. They've been doing it forever, but every one of them have been through how many relationships? Even the mom.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's sad, but
it's got to be tough having cameras all over all the time.
But see, I think that their relationships are transactional. They don't.
You think they're all set up?
And I don't know if they're all set up, but they sit there and they go, well, you know what? We're gonna get a bigger viewer base if you have a black boyfriend. You can get all this. You're gonna get a bigger viewer base if he's this or if he's that. Like that Chris Humphries or whoever. She used that poor guy. Yeah. He didn't know what he was in for.
He got a taste of Kris Jenner pretty good, huh?
I don't know, did he?
Well, yeah. He didn't get the good taste. He got the taste of how to get fucked over by somebody that knows what they're doing.
And I've met all those people, and I've been to Mexico at a private home for them for the weekend. We all went to Joe Francis's house.
Oh, good for you.
And so Joe had invited me down because he was going to have a commitment ceremony, because I know Joe. And he supposedly is the one who released the Kardashian sex tape. Supposedly. Allegedly.
Well, made him $1 gazillion. I hope he's getting a kick.
I hope so too. But so everybody was there.
Joe asked for a kick, right?
Yes. So Lance Bass was there, Mario Lopez, and everybody was there. All these people from NCAA, these agencies, and and the Kardashians were there, and Bruce was there before he became Caitlyn.
Did he look totally miserable?
No, he didn't. He was very nice and very sweet. I have pictures. I'll show. We were all talking. What are there? Cheryl Teagues, the actress. A lot of people were there. But that big house, fabulous. We actually didn't stay at the house. We stayed at the St. Regis. But Kylie and what's the other little girl's name? Kendall. They were little then. They're not little now. They were spoiled brats. Just spoiled brats. And I guess, but I got along with them. I talked to them. We played. And they're in their early teens, and so they had a room that was like it was extended to the house, but it was connected. But instead of having to go all the way back to the main house, I asked her one day, I said, "Can I just use your restroom?" Told it's not working, she said. Told it's not working, which was a lie. She wanted me to walk all the way to the house to use the restroom. But we were all playing, lawn games out there. And so it's on this beautiful beach in Punta Mita, Mexico. And, it was fabulous.
How about Kylie, huh? She killed it.
Didn't she turn out to be a hot little girl?
She turned out to be hot and rich as hell. I think she was the first woman billionaire, I believe.
For her cosmetically.
Really? Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah.
Crushing it with that. They're always sold out.
If anybody wants to buy my lip gloss line, go ahead. I'm getting ready to add some.
Yeah. So when Kylie sold out, and I have heard some things about her stuff, but I don't know. I would go with Elaine Lancaster, wouldn't you?
Yeah, me too. My quality is very good.
I heard it is too.
Excellent quality. It really is, and it's only $22 for 0.9 grams. So
beats the hot.
You buy by the gram.
Or try comparing that to Dior, right? Even I know that part.
There you go. That's great.
Now, all these events, you've traveled a lot. What's your favorite country to go to? Like when you were...
United States.
Huh?
The United States.
What's second?
Greece.
Greece, really? What'd you like about Greece?
The islands, the freedom. I mean, I don't like people to be inhibited. I like for people... U.S. people have a tendency to be... We're so self-monitoring. But in Mykonos and other... I guess you could say Mediterranean countries, people have sort of let it all hang out, so to speak.
They mind their business.
They also mind other people's business, but they also just, I love the fact that you can go to, I've been all over. I've been to Asia, I've been everywhere. But I lived in Italy for a while. But that's a Catholic-based nation, so people were a little sort of reserved. But you go to the beach areas or the seaside, people have a tendency, there are places you can go. And I don't know. It's just I don't like to have to live in a nation or anywhere where I have to constantly monitor my behavior. That's not socially acceptable. You can't do that. I don't like that.
I think the United States is at a rapid pace turning into communism.
Oh, without a
rapidly.
doubt. Without a doubt.
I mean, I think it's already pretty much.
We're handing it over. Like Ronald Reagan said, if fascism ever comes to the United States, it's going to come in the form of liberalism. It's going to come under the disguise of being liberal. And, I'm as liberal as they come when it comes to personal freedoms, but not when it comes to, children, when it comes to finances, when it comes to certain things in the economy. I think we have got to be conservative. We've got to maintain, I like America first. I like a lot of things that say that, take care of your home first. You shouldn't be sending $40 billion over to Ukraine when we've got all this homelessness on the streets of California and Philadelphia and all this war in Chicago because no one really wants to do anything about it. I mean, I don't know. There's a conspiracy saying that there are certain segments of the government who wants these people to kill one another. So they're infiltrating their communities with weapons. They're getting them to them. Maybe, who knows?
Well, there was a bunch of cops. They got caught taking a bunch of guns over the Mexican border.
Mhm.
Did you see that? They were doing it for years.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
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 They were taking it right over. No problem.
Under Holder, Eric Holder, is scumbag.
Scumbag.
Yeah.
Because, you go over there, you got the cartel. That's $1 billion gang.
They were
basically.
arming the cartels, and
Yeah.
they said, "Oh, we had these guns traced, and we were hoping that we could get them, and once we caught someone, go back to bull crap."
Nice try. No, what happened is you went over there and the cartel said, those guns that are $5,000 a piece, we'll give you $20,000 a piece if you get 100 over here. Now, that same cop making what, $50K a year can make one run and make, what, $1 million? You know what I mean? So you make 2 runs a year. Now you're making $3 million. The wife's happy. The kid's happy. All the fighting at home is gone. It's good.
The system is rigged.
It's rigged. It's
rigged against you and I.
And they're letting them get through.
Of course they are. Everybody. Listen, the biggest drug dealers in the world is the CIA, allegedly.
They are.
Of course they are. I mean, why do you think the Afghanistan poppy fields were so protected?
Of course. Listen, the war on drugs, there's no war on drugs. They want them in here. That's how they make the money. That's why they wouldn't legalize them.
Hello.
Just look at Portugal. I bring it up. Hello. I probably bring this up every 15 podcasts, but look at Portugal. Everything's legal.
Everything's legal.
And the crime rate
you can't have that.
70%.
There's got to be forbidden fruits.
There got to be.
Got to be forbidden fruits.
Hey, Big Pharma says no.
That's right.
You got to take our shit because we got 30 drugs to give you, so you can't.
And that's something how they were saying, all right, we're going to legalize, keep marijuana illegal, but we're going to have a synthetic marijuana that we can give a prescription for.
Oh, okay.
Hello? Just
never ends.
I don't know. It never ends. Big Pharma, evil.
Now, you DJ too? You never end.
BJ?
EJ. Fuck, now you fucked me up. Now you just fucked me up.
Yes,
possibly that too.
I do it all.
Sure.
Yes. I DJ. Yes, I do DJ.
I can't believe you did.
I used to DJ at the Ritz-Carlton on South Beach.
Did you?
For a couple of years.
What the hell got you into DJing? That one threw me off. I had to read that.
You got to diversify. You got to find ways.
Definitely diverse.
You've
accomplished that. Huh?
You got to diversify. Listen, I mean, I used to go to places and I never liked the music. So I thought, maybe I can see if they'll let me play my kind of music and see what they think. So I did the grand opening, which was a New Year's Eve of all things, at the Ritz-Carlton.
Can you imagine her being a DJ?
At the Ritz-Carlton South Beach, and it was such a hit. The Lowensteins, who owned the building,
that's so fucking cool.
Talked to the management, said, "We got to get Elaine back here next Friday."
At the Ritz yet too. Good for you.
In the main lobby lounge upstairs. And so I DJ there. Next thing you know, I went from Friday nights every month to Friday and Saturday nights. And I was making big money. I mean, I don't have big money. I mean, I was making good money. I was making all, like $1,200 a night.
Sure.
Plus, I'd get tips. Plus, I got hotel benefits. If I wanted to go somewhere, they would give me a form, and I'd get the hotel
anywhere
employee rate, any Marriott, any Ritz-Carlton, anything.
Shit.
So, I'd take off and go do things. And so if I'm traveling to work in Naples, let's say, for example, I'd stay at the Ritz. Where it was in Orlando, I'd stay at the Ritz.
That alone
for $50.
That's that alone. I'll go DJ.
And then I get a hotel credit from the client for $300 a night. So $250 went in my pocket. Hello,
smart move. I do it just for the comp on the hotel, right?
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
Power move.
And then in 2015, I bought crypto.
No, you didn't.
I did.
What are you doing with crypto?
Oh, I sold it.
Okay, good.
I have no mortgage now, but I was very smart. I was going to Mykonos, and I had a layover in Manhattan in New York, and I sat next to a man on the plane, and I'd been reading about Trump, and I had the magazine that had all about Trump in it, and so I thought, oh, this guy, he looks like he's a liberal. And what I said, where are you from? And he says, I'm from Vermont. I thought, oh God, he's liberal, so I won't talk politics with him. And so he goes, what are you reading? And I showed him the magazine. He goes, what do you think about him? I said, I like him. He goes, me too. So the next thing you know, we're talking about crypto. I said, I'm learning about cryptocurrencies too. And he said, do you know anything about them? I said, no, not really. He said, well, I mine crypto. And my advice to you is go to your hotel, open up that laptop, and open yourself a Coinbase account and buy all you can afford because it's the future. I said, okay, let me see. So I could only afford 3 of them. But I bought 3 coins at $717 a piece.
Wow.
And I sold one prematurely because I needed the money. And then I just sold the last two at the peak.
Wow, good for you.
For 64 something a piece, 64,000 a piece.
Good for you.
But that from $717, that's a pretty good return on investment, don't you think?
You're one out of a million.
Well, I still have not a full coin, but I have other coins too. I have a Litecoin and I have Ethereum. I have a few other things, but not in big amounts. And then when Sears was going out, I wanted to buy Sears. And they took it off the thing. I couldn't buy it. Thankfully, I didn't. But same thing with Kmart. I wanted to buy Kmart, and I couldn't.
Sears will not go away. Do you know?
I hope it doesn't go away.
I
love Sears.
Neiman Marcus. They were trying to put when I had the engineering firm over here. So yeah, Sears in the Gardens Mall. People that are listening, they have no idea. But there's a mall around here. It's kind of high end, and they wanted Sears out because they felt that it wasn't good enough to be in the mall. That type of bullshit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They offered them $50 million to leave. And I know because we were going to do the job.
$50 million.
And they're already bankrupt. That's probably why they didn't leave. Because this was 18, I guess. And they would not leave that mall because they're there till 25.
They're still there.
Yeah. Simon owns it. Simon, they own all the big malls. Simon, whatever. Yeah. They own all the big shit. So they were offered all that money and they would not leave. And they're still there today, and not one person walks through the place.
Nope.
But they do sell a lot of appliances.
Yeah, but not. You know what they're paying a month to be in there?
A lot.
$270,000 a month. They're not They might make. I don't think they're making anything.
Well, if they have a physical presence, seriously, see, I wasn't aware that they still had physical presence. I thought they just reduced themselves to basically small appliance storefronts. But
Same as
if
it
they
was
still have
last
that,
one.
I would buy some stock in them because they're going to come back. There are certain things you cannot, like Sears and Roebuck was the very first department store, of its kind. And it was a level playing field because when black people could not go to certain stores to buy things, you could go into the Sears and Roebuck catalog, no matter what color you were, and order things and have it delivered to your home.
Oh, wow.
So there was a huge level playing field. And it's an institution that really was, that's how the middle classes came about, was because you were able to get a washer and dryer in your house.
They could survive at a
certainly.
different level.
Before you had to wash them, at the lake or the stream or whatever. And then when they didn't have commercial laundromats.
Yeah, I remember my grandma hanging shit on a rope.
Of course.
What they call clothesline.
She'd wash it with a washboard, and she'd hang it on the clothesline.
Yeah.
Sure. But so Sears and Roebuck has a rich history in the United States. But now they're trying to buy it. Somebody's trying to buy it for billions of dollars. JCPenney's.
I'm sure. JCPenney's is getting killed. Sears is getting killed. There's a bunch of them getting killed. Kmart's already done for, right?
2 left.
There's 2 left. I know we took out 4 of them when I had the.
But there's also Blockbuster still somewhere.
One
Blockbuster.
They did a Netflix documentary on that.
Yeah.
Oregon somewhere.
Blockbuster. That brings back kid memories. Going in there, pulling the thing. Remember, you would want that movie, and you would hope to God that card was behind there.
Well, I would go to the store and I'd say, listen, if they return one, will you put it aside for me? And I knew the people who worked there; they were always so sweet. And so the guy would always like, hey man, come get it, come get your movie. Yeah, because I only had like 4 or 5 copies.
Yeah, everybody would race to go get it on the weekends. That was when things were just so less stressful. Now there's social media shit.
They had the curtain area where the
with the porno. Yeah, you saw the guy. As we were kids, we didn't know what the hell.
Oh, they had a dirty section.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
in the
that.
back, black.
Me neither.
Behind. No, you couldn't do anything back there, but they'd have like all the
porno.
see the guys.
What do you mean you couldn't do anything back there? What do you normally do?
Like you couldn't jerk off. And shit.
Oh, you mean like
there weren't private viewing booths back there.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like the busting up booth type thing.
Yeah.
But
They're still around, those things.
I remember when I was young,
heard.
I used to look back and I'd see these guys going back, and I'd be like, "Dad, what the hell is that?" Oh, those are the rated R movies, son. Those are the rated R, right? At 12, 13, Dad, what are they doing? They can't get women.
maybe they didn't maybe they didn't have time for it.
Maybe not.
Women are a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Men are not so much trouble as women are. Men are like, let's do it. Woman's like, wow, what you gonna buy me first?
You about nailed it on the head.
I have a girlfriend of mine who I will remain nameless, but I used to say to her, I said, you will fuck for dinner. What's the deal? Well, they gotta do something. I said, but dinner? Can't you buy your own dinner?
Say, get a little bit more than dinner out of them.
Exactly.
You're going too quick. So you're giving it up too quick, honey. Just, get dinner and get like at least a bracelet out of it.
But even then, but don't you think it's a form of prostitution?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I do too.
How is it not? If you're gonna have sex with somebody, if they buy you dinner, what is the difference?
Yeah.
That guy just made out is what happened.
I said, cash at me. Put that money in my account, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. No, that guy made out on that $300 dinner. She undercut. She could have got $2,000 for him.
Hello.
He's like, oh, all it is dinner? Monday, Wednesdays, meet me at, where do you want to go? Flagler, Ruth Chris? Shit. Can I get this in contract?
There you go.
One dinner I get late. I want the lawyers. Bring the lawyers, right? Now, Versace, tell me about, because I watched that. I watched the one, because there was one that you were a part of, and then they did another one.
I
did
two. Yeah. In 98. I did the murder of Versace, the Gianni Versace murder, whatever. I did that movie, and with Stephen Bauer. You know who Stephen Bauer?
Yes, I do.
And I played myself, and I had a pretty nice little role in it, but it was directed by Menachem Golan, who was an Academy Award-winning director from Israel, but it just went straight to video, went straight to Blockbuster.
And then later went to Europe, right?
It went to Europe. They debuted it at the Cannes Film Festival. So it got some.
So in your opinion, what do you think happened with Versace?
I have no idea. He was murdered.
Well, I know that.
That's fine.
But you think there's any, I
have no idea.
You have no idea.
I mean, you can, no. I mean, there's all kinds of,
conspiracies. Yeah.
But I think maybe, if anything, he had maybe a little tryst with that guy, Andrew Cunanan, maybe at one time or another. Who knows? Maybe not. But the guy was obviously a sociopath. I mean, he went around killing these guys in a little pattern. And he went from Chicago to here to there. And so I guess he just, at the time, it presented itself. And, Versace was just so open about
being open, right.
Walking from, the news cafe to his front door.
Unbelievable.
Talented
man.
And I lived right around the corner. That's the day I told you I moved here.
Yeah.
And so I got a phone call because I didn't have a telephone. I had a landline. She had a landline. I didn't have a cell phone. The phone kept ringing nonstop. And I thought, nobody knows my number here. It's not for me. So after like 10 minutes of that phone ringing, I picked up the phone. I go, what? And it was the girl whose apartment I was subletting. She goes, is it true? I said, what? Versace's been murdered. She was in California. I said, no, it's not true. It's all over the news. I said, Francis, it's not true. So I pulled on my shorts. I was on 9th and Collins. And, of course, the Versace mansion is on 11th and Ocean. And I walked to the corner of Ocean, half a block away, and looked to the left or to the north. And there they all were. So, of course, it was true. And it's just like, wow, it's so surreal.
When something like that happens,
yeah.
Even Michael Jackson, I remember that day too.
Of course.
I remember the TV and I was like, what? Because as a kid, I don't remember all the crazy stuff with him. I remember him moonwalking, and I was trying to moonwalk, and my mom would go get me the shoes and all that. And I never paid attention to all the bullshit because who cares? I mean, whatever. And who knows?
There's conspiracies about that too. They say that the people who insured him said he's worth more dead than he is alive, and they went,
It goes for a lot of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
and how'd that doctor only get? What did he get? A year?
I don't
2 years?
know.
Any other doctor would have got 20 years.
I have no idea.
But what are you going to do? It's like that with everything. You know what I mean? They pick and choose what they want to do.
He's not coming back, but his music lives on, and
And he could dance.
He could dance.
He could definitely dance.
I mean, the thing is that look at poor Whitney. Whitney Houston. We could go down the list, but it's just sad, I think. But the thing is, people like that, they seem not to have people around them who really care for them, not as a product, but as a person.
They want people. Yeah. And then the people that say no, kind of like we were talking about earlier, they want the people. So they weed out anybody that goes against what they want, they get away, but then they bring in the people. And a lot of people in general are like that. If they have a problem, they'll say, hey, Elaine, do you think what I did was wrong? And you say, yeah, what you did was wrong, Tommy. And then I'll call 17 different people until I hear that one person say,
no.
Oh, you were right, Tommy. And I say, okay, come hang out with me.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy. And now we're hanging out all the time just because he said what I wanted to say, you know? And I think that's a lot of times what these people do.
Well, that's the same way with politics. People want to associate with people that say the same thing that they want to hear themselves say. It's called an echo chamber. It's like sitting in a closet and talking to yourself.
Yeah.
That's all they want. They want to hear the same thing they want to hear. I only hang out with people who think the way I think. Hogwash. I like to hang around with people who have different ideas and opinions.
Well, then you can learn. How do you learn?
Exactly.
If you don't?
And sort of visions and, share things with one another. That's how you grow and expand as a human being.
Absolutely. Rob's going to love this. No. Guess what Elaine was on? She was on Hard Copy. Do you remember Hard Copy?
Hard Copy.
Well, I thought he would fall off the chair when I said that.
You remember that?
What's Hard Copy?
Maybe.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
It's a porno movie.
It's porn.
No.
Hard Copy.
No, tell them what I can't believe you don't know what that is.
It's sort of like a tabloid. It's sort of like a combination of hard news and Entertainment Tonight combined.
It was huge when we were kids, man.
Yeah.
I can't look. Google Hard Copy. When you see the logo, you'll know.
Yeah. Because
you were on E a bunch. What, 4 times on E?
I was on the E. Those are all things that were just when I first started out.
But that's something to be proud of. Yeah, these are big steps. Not everybody gets to be on E and Hard Copy.
Well,
and all these.
I was
cool
on
things.
Entertainment Tonight first. That was, I co-hosted, or I hosted, not co-hosted. I hosted Wild on
I remember
South Beach on Entertainment.
The logo's familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scroll down when you see the guy. There's Trump on there.
There's Big Daddy. Yeah, he was the host.
He was the host. Wow.
I vaguely remember. I don't remember it, but
so my punchline with Rob just totally went to shit.
What was the punchline?
Well, the punchline was, Rob, this is gonna blow your mind. He has no idea what I'm talking about. I would have thought for sure because he was in news and everything else.
What year did it come out?
I don't know. You'd have to Google that.
Late 80s, early 90s.
So what'd you initially do on E?
They had used to have a show called Wild on Mardi Gras, Wild on this, Wild on that. And when they had Wild on South Beach, they contacted me and asked me if I'd like to be the MC for the segment, which was, a very big thing for me. And
89.
Yeah, 10 years.
99.
And then what did you do on Hard Copy?
Oh, they just profiled me doing something silly.
That just stuck out with me because I used to always watch it. I think that was... I can even hear the music in my head.
Can you? Current Affair, remember Current Affair?
Mm-hmm. Current Affair.
With Deborah Norville.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about the documentary Miami Undercover?
Miami Undercover. That was, I forgot about that one. I've done so much shit.
So much stuff is just kind of like...
But I remember the name.
Yeah.
I did a thing called, was it Undercover or not? Was that on A&E? It was After Dark.
After Dark.
After Dark on A&E.
Yeah.
Yeah, they chose 4 people.
No, it was the BBC.
That was
BBC.
It was called, that was a 3-hour show. That was a really good show. I was on an airplane coming back from somewhere, and I was in first class because I got bumped up. Didn't pay for a first class ticket.
Good for you.
And so when the stewardess, flight attendant, whatever you're supposed to call them these days, was coming through,
be careful,
asking what people wanted to drink. This couple in front of me was talking, and they were talking sort of loud, and they were talking to her, and she's like, "Where y'all gonna do when you're in Miami?" She says, "We are part of a documentary film crew, and we're going to go down, and we're going to talk about this thing called the White Party, which being I'm the host for White Party, I'm the crown jewel, I'm the queen." And so I'm listening. Let them do their spiel. So they order what they want to have to eat and to drink, and I order what I want to drink. And then I leaned up between their 2 chairs, and I tapped the woman. I said, "Ma'am, can I ask a question?" "Yes, sir." So she stands up and comes back, and there's nobody sitting next to me. So I ask her to sit down. I said, I understand that you're going to go to Miami to cover something about the white party. Well, we don't know anybody yet. We're going to go down there and see if we can film it. And I said, well, so she says, do they have somebody who's coming from London, they were from UK, to be a part, or not be a part, but they're going to experience, and they're going to film this person and their experience for White Party for the weekend. So long story short, I say, I'm the host for White Party. And the man stands up, what? I'm the host. I'm the one.
I'm the host.
I'm the
bitch.
host. I'm the host with the host. And I was performing somewhere. I don't know where I was coming back from. I think it might be in New York. So anyway, I tell them, I said, this is who you need to speak with. This is Lark Bennett and Alan Barabee, blah, blah, blah. So I made all the introductions. They, of course, had to follow me around for everything. So they followed me, the guy from London, a guy named Blue who was a porn star, somebody else, and all our 4 different experiences that were so different, but yet the common theme was White Party. And, you know, like some of them, they would not sleep. They were up 24 hours a day partying nonstop. And here I am having things made, sleeping, making sure I get my sleep in so I'd be fresh and looking good. All these things that were deemed responsible. And then they see me emceeing, they see me performing. So it was really, really good. But it was a 3-hour segment, and it came out like 3 different weeks. So you would get an hour show on this month, or this week, and the next week on Monday, the second segment installment, and the third week the following. So it was great, and I got a copy of all that in a DVD format. First, they gave it to me in a VHS. That's how old it was. And then, so it was just good. And then I made other connections. So a film crew from Germany called Red wanted to come to Miami. They had seen it, and they asked if they could follow me around. So, you know, you get a little nominal amount of money because the big prize is you're getting this international notoriety. But then, you know, they still give you a couple $500 or whatever, and you're going to do the same thing anyway. So why not just let them tag along? So that was fun.
Those international gigs pay.
Yeah, they do pay. And then I got to do, I was the host, I don't know if you saw that in there, for a show called, you know, the magazine The Economist.
Mm-mm.
Have you know The Economist? The Economist is a highbrow. It's a thinking man. They refer to me as the thinking man's drag queen. But The Economist is for people who are intellectuals.
What do they call it? A highbrow? That means really smart?
Means like, you know, people who are in the know,
Yeah.
who are educated, who are worldly, who are Elaine Lancaster.
Yeah, they're in the know. I know that.
They're in the know. So anyway,
They're in like
the Economist had a travel show. They had an internet website thing, and they have the thing called, they do travel shows. And I did all about Miami. So they rented me a Bentley, and they spent a weekend with me. I made a lot of money and went all over. But then when the election came on, they called me up. They didn't know my politics.
Oh.
And they said, we want to know what do you think about Trump winning? Can you believe that? Oh, can you get in drag? You know, we'll send you this amount of money or whatever if you can do something for us. I said, sure. So one of the field producers or whatever, who's sort of weeding me out, is asking me my opinion. And I said, we've already agreed that we're going to do it. The amount of money they're going to send me, which is not a money, $400, but it's still $400 to give my opinion for 5 minutes. And when I found out that I liked him, that I was happy, that I don't think you're the right person we want to talk to. I said, why? Okay, Lane, thanks for your time. Click.
You want to talk about rigged?
Yeah.
I think all these news stations, including Fox, are all in cahoots. And I solidify my opinion, and I'm pretty not open-minded on this one, a little bit, because you have to be to learn. Because even Fox started going away from the war, away from the border, Hunter's laptop. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Totally away from it. Debt, anything else, inflation. Even they went away from it.
Yeah.
So they all went away from it. Why would they go away from it? Well, it makes Biden look bad. Makes him look horrible. Even the war makes him look horrible.
Well, you don't want your commander-in-chief to be in a bad light. But sometimes you just can't hide certain things. You know, I'll pay no attention to Grandpa in the corner. Well, he's in the room. And, you know, what do you mean you don't pay attention to him? But
I think they go to CNN, they go to Fox, they go to all of them. And they say, here's this much, get away from the war, get away from the border, get away from A, B, C, D, E. And they're all away from it.
You may be right.
And actually, CNN is actually putting the war on more than Fox. Believe it or not. You know, it's just so crazy.
You know, because they don't want to focus on domestic issues.
Because it hurts Biden.
I know, but the thing is, why not say, look over here, don't look over there? So this is what look at the shiny thing over here, which is war. War sells. War, but this nation, for all of our positive, wonderful things, we've been at war since the beginning of time, practically.
We keep getting in other people's shit that's been going on forever.
But it's the military-industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
What do they want? They want war because war is profitable for Raytheon, for all these companies that traffic in things that are warheads or things that are,
talk about
destructive.
Greed.
Halliburton.
Greed.
Raytheon. These companies, yeah.
Greed.
But it's the American way. It's not the American people's way. It's the government.
Now, given what you've been through, how do you feel about Hunter Biden's laptop just being brushed under the rug? $6 million, don't know where it's from.
Well, the thing is, the reason why it's so important that this laptop is scrutinized, investigated, and revealed is because James Biden and Joe Biden, it's full of all their business transactions too, and how Hunter Biden was filtering all of his money and paying for his parents' expenses like home repairs that were sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars that he didn't want to have to, Biden didn't want to have recognized. Well, who paid for it? Well, Hunter did. Well, how did Hunter pay for it? He paid for it for a gig that I got him that went through his name.
You got to have a lot of power to be able to brush that under the rug. I mean, a lot of power.
Listen, that is not a penny's worth of power compared to what they have. They can complete murders and people disappearing. Yeah. Seth Riches.
They do disappear.
Yes.
If you mess with the Clintons, you might disappear.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
handfuls.
And the thing is that what is so frustrating to the American people is, like, I have an aunt who's so sure, she's so certain that their people were going to pay the price. These traders are going to pay the price. I said, I don't think so.
Never.
If not one's paid the price yet, not Clapper, not Comey, none of these people have paid price for all the crimes that they've committed and the treason and the lies and the intentional under oath lying. I don't think that anybody's going to pay any price.
How about Comey? How do you not charge Comey? How? I mean, how?
Look at John Brennan, Comey, all of them.
I forgot about him.
Jeez. I could go on all night long.
I don't know which one I would charge first, right? I mean, to be like, who do you go after first?
Firing squad.
But yet you'll spend 3 years and $1 gazillion on Russia when there was nothing on Russia. And I know who Mueller is, and I know what he did to one of my friends, and he planted shit on one of my friends when he was at USAA. He planted shit. I know for a fact he did. 100%. And he got my buddy 20 years for something he didn't do. So believe me, if he could find something that was solid enough to plant on Trump, he would have.
Of course he would have.
And he spent 3 years in a gazillion.
And they knew there was nothing. They knew there was nothing. They were wanting someone to fabricate something so they could say, well, here's our proof. And they wanted to expand upon it, but they couldn't do it.
And they sat there like this, just waiting for something to come while taxpayers are paying for this
bullshit. Look what they did to Enron.
Yeah.
I can't.
Enron. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I ran into those guys, too.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. Crazy situation.
So how are we going to end this?
So we'll end it. Two last things. So what was the bullshit with you and Dennis Rodman? They were acting like you guys had an issue, and then one thing after another when you guys are good friends.
Well,
I'm talking about the tabloids.
I remember we had an issue.
They had said in the magazine with you and LeBron on it.
Is it recent?
No. Oh. No, it's older. It was saying that despite what the tabloids say, Elaine Lancaster and Dennis Rodman are very close.
Yeah, of course. I never knew the tabloids say anything otherwise.
No.
Dennis and I have been friends, like I said, for a long, long time.
Since we're 19.
17.
So
Richard, I forget his last name, Richard, he writes page 6 in the New York Post. And so when Dennis was going back to North Korea the second time, I was telling Dennis, do you know what a gulag is? And he said, no. And I explained to him what a gulag was, the best of my ability. And I told him about Kim Jong-un and about how he was, putting people in these secret prisons. And I said, don't let this trip be in vain. And Kenneth Bay, who was the prisoner, who Dennis, I believe, because of Dennis, got him released. Dennis didn't say it to Kim Jong-un himself directly, but he said it to one of his ministers or whatever. what about Kenneth Bay? Can you get him out? And everybody said, you should never said that. 2 weeks later, the guy's out.
I think Dennis Rodman paved the way for Trump.
I said, yeah, of course he did. So I wrote on my Facebook posting and Twitter what I had said to Dennis before Kenneth Bay was released. So Richard picked that up and he says, is Elaine Lancaster Dennis Rodman's foreign policy advisor? And it made it into Sports Illustrated and several other things. Well, I always speak my mind to whomever. Like if I had a one-on-one with Trump and he asked me what my thoughts were on certain things and what he should do, I would tell him. I wouldn't say, oh, nothing, Mr. President, you're doing a great job, keep it up. No, I'd say, do this, pull back on this, accelerate that, quit patting yourself on the back quite so much. The American people know this. And change up your message because your message is always so consistently the same. But I know that that's how you get through is just repetition. But I just believe that honesty is always going to be, at the end of the day, the best thing for anybody, whether they want to hear it or not. And it's just my perspective from one little person.
No, that's right. It is. Yeah.
It's just my perspective. I like to hear the truth. Maybe not at the time, but I like to hear it ultimately. And the person who delivered it is the one who I can trust most than anything else at the end of the day.
I couldn't believe Dennis went over there. He's got balls. Fucking best rebounder best defensive player I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Best rebounder I've ever seen. Bulls would have never won without him.
Never.
The best.
Like people always say,
not even close.
If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, if it wasn't for Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan wouldn't exist.
You're right.
At the rate he did, at the level he did.
You're right. Because Dennis was doing all that dirty work. Jordan would have been so worn out.
And Scottie Pippen's, I like him and everything as a person, but he wasn't busting his ass and throwing himself on the floor like Dennis was.
Yeah. And if you notice, I remember back then, Jordan went to Phil Jackson and said, you better make sure that Rodman's still with us. Because
let him go on vacation. Let him go to Vegas.
Yeah, let him go. And then they went and got him. And Phil let him go for a week. He didn't come back.
When I lived, and
then he got like 9,000 rebounds after being hung over.
I was with Dennis before when Phil Jackson would come over, and Phil Jackson would lay on the floor next to Dennis's bed and talk to him.
Phil is a beast. He's our Zen master. He is the Zen master.
Yeah, he was.
So you met Phil Jackson?
Oh, I've met them all.
Oh, you got to tell me a little bit about Phil. Come on,
I don't really know that much, to truth.
Just like what he's like.
I always excuse myself because it was business.
Yeah.
I always I'd pull out and say, but he was just always, he wasn't there for social time. He wasn't there, hey man, how you doing? He didn't even, he would not even really acknowledge you. He was there to see Dennis, and walk away. It was business.
Best coach ever, too.
Yeah. And so you were respectful because you knew. And I said, I wasn't even that knowledgeable about basketball, but I knew Dennis was really good at what he did.
Yeah. and he had the best coach with him, too. Yeah.
And his birthday party's this Friday night. So, and then
how old?
60.
60.
Is he really?
Man, he seems like he's 45.
Shit.
Guy hasn't aged a year since he played.
60 years old.
He's 60. Mm-hmm. He hasn't aged since he played. He looks the same as when he played.
Listen, 60. Wow. Today's 60 is like yesterday's 40.
Wow, he hasn't aged a fucking wrinkle.
That's blowing my mind.
Yeah,
good for him.
No, he has wrinkles.
Well,
he wears glasses. He needs some Botox. But
okay, to me, he looks fucking like the same he did.
But no, Dennis is still in good shape, and he's I just wish he would cut back on his drinking a little bit.
What are you gonna do? Nothing you can do. So one day, you want the Elaine Lancaster to go off into the wilderness and
one day I will
be the Brokeback from the Brokeback.
Maybe. I mean, I've always said that I'd like to have a farm somewhere, maybe somewhere in the mountains. But I think where my Elaine Lancaster character is going to have longevity is exactly what you're seeing here, behind a microphone, in a studio, or in front of a camera or a computer. It's not going to be nightclubs anymore. It's going to be just, spewing my platitudes and my pontificating on what the future holds for me. And it's just, I have a unique position, but I also think it's pretty commonplace. I think that my values runs parallel to every other American. Everyone wants their children to be happy and healthy. I want my loved ones to be happy and healthy. I want them to have access to a good education. I want everyone to have access to a good education. And so I think that the values are sort of, universal as far as in the American ideal. And that's something that, the pharmaceutical companies, the school boards, they've got the nation by the balls. And these are things that have got to really be broken up. They've got big tech's to be broken up. Or else the same old messages are going to be suppressed no matter what Elon Musk does. Look what's happening with Disney right now. They're breaking Disney down because Disney stuck their nose and where it's like you can't preach from the pulpit politics, or they're going to take away your 501c3 or 4, whatever.
They are the dumbest company in the planet. They
Well,
had it
CEO is
by
dumb.
the balls.
Yes. And now they're by the balls.
Yeah, now they got them by the balls. They had all that shit for free, grants out the ass. And
They had their own police force. They had their own government.
They blew it. They blew it over political BS.
Mhm.
Stupid.
Well, go
Or whatever you want to call
go
it.
woke, go broke, as they say.
Yeah, good. Go broke. Somebody will replace you. There's a lot of people with a lot of money. So last thing, what's in the future? What's coming from Elaine Lancaster? We have the makeup line coming out.
I'm going to leave here and go get something to eat. I'm starving.
You're starving to death? Okay, that's in the future.
The future.
All righty.
The immediate future, I'm starving. What am I going to do? I mean, I'm doing Dennis's birthday party. Some of his kids are coming in. It's a big birthday. It's a milestone birthday. And I
Tell
know.
him happy birthday for me and tell him I'm a huge fan and he does not look 60.
I shall do so. I know some of his kids. One of his kids, Chance, I used to hold in my arms when he was a little infant.
So cool.
Because he was dating Carmen at the time, and Carmen didn't have any material instincts, no maternal instincts, not material, maternal instincts. And so I, being the little, auntie or gay boy or whatever, I took the child and I fed him breakfast, and we went to the same restaurant every single morning, Cappy's in Newport. And so I would take care of the child, and now he's grown and he's a young man. So hopefully he'll come. I get to say, I should change your diapers.
All right, I know you're hungry. I don't want to starve you to death.
Yeah, it's too late. You already did.
All right, starved you to death. All right.
No, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
It was so great to get to know you. You're awesome. You really
are too, and I really appreciate it.
You can really make a big change on a lot of people. You can.
Well, thank you.
You should do a podcast.
I should. I know. I'd like to. I just have a tendency to have to tell myself it's a conversation, not a monologue. So shut up and let someone else talk.
Be you. Stay being you.
Well, thank you, Tommy.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Time.
Thank you, babe.
Beep, beep, beep.
Just do me one favor. You'll move that mic. Look into that camera right there, just for the thumbnail.
Let me get
that we do for YouTube.
Okay.
I'll give you a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Okay, I hope we got something good.
You got it good.